This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries?
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Your Give UNC gift today will make a difference at UNC Chapel Hill for years to come. Join the community of Tar Heels making an impact in Carolina. What are you waiting for? Give today at giveunc.unc.edu.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And are you ready for relatable topics? That's right, my bracket stinks. So does yours. So new customers at FanDuel can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins, $200 extra bucks to bet on anything from clutch shots to last-second heartbreaks, even who's cutting down the nets. Hey, you can get in whenever you like. If you have been waiting to join, no better time. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. That's FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Look, the team you didn't think is going to win probably will. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Nice afternoon out there. Plenty of sunshine. High temperatures in the low 70s, but it will be a bit breezy through the afternoon. Skies will cloud up quickly this evening. We'll see showers developing across our area, and they'll last for several hours, starting as early as 7 or 8, lasting until around midnight or so. And it'll be a chilly start to the morning tomorrow with temperatures in the mid-40s, cooler during the afternoon, too, with mid-60s, but mostly sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 100 points at 42,483.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Will Wade has been reported as the next head coach. Then it was confirmed as the next head coach. Now he's been introduced as the next head coach. NC State men's basketball. Had his press conference earlier today. I don't know how you don't love that press conference if you're an NC State fan. I don't know if it was perfect. Don't get me wrong. But you've heard of the term fake it till you make it. He's going to speak things into existence. He is going to manifest stuff. He'll fit into the specific environment of the rivalries, stuff like that. At one point in time, he said, I know we have some bully neighbors. And I was like, not sure if that's it. But other than that, I mean, he is about his business on the court, and he knows he can win, and quickly. That is the part that I took away from it. It's the first thing that I described Will Wade. The first thing that I used to describe Will Wade. The first phrase for NC State fans when he was just the number one option, a candidate, was quiet, combative confidence. He's not a screamer, if you will. But you can tell full belief. You can tell he's willing to fight. Will Wade, during his press conference, talked about this not being a rebuild for NC State, which I think is something fans should appreciate.
I just couldn't be more excited. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. This is the first time in a while, I think, the fans, the administration, and the program, we're all on one accord. And everybody's on the same accord. Everybody's singing from the same sheet of music. And when that happens at NC State, it's going to be a reckoning for the ACC, and it's going to be a reckoning for college basketball. And it's coming. And it's coming soon. And I want to be very clear. This is not a rebuild. We're going to be in the top part of the ACC next year, and we're going to the NCAA tournament. This is not something that's going to take a whole lot of time. All right? This is. Make sure you got that on camera. This is going to be done. This is going to be done the right way, and this is going to be done quickly. We are here to win.
How about that? Saying it twice. Where's the camera? Let me look into it. Stare down the barrel of this bad boy. We are going to be in the NCAA tournament next year.
I mean, Tim, has anyone ever won a press conference before? Because I think Will Wade might have been the first person to ever win a press conference.
It happens. Don't get me wrong. And college and professional sports are littered with great press conferences that don't lead to great tenures. But the difference being in this modern climate is a great press conference can actually help you during the regular season. Right? A great press conference builds confidence in you and your staff and your program, thus makes it more comforting for fundraising. Right? If people believe in you, they're more inclined to support you, they're more inclined to give you money. If they don't believe in you, why would we waste our dollars, right? Why would the fan base give you their cash? So winning a press conference in this climate matters way more than winning a press conference 15 years ago. Which is why 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when coaches were hired, they didn't do what we just heard. They said, well, we're going to do this the right way, and we're going to build a strong foundation, and over time, we're going to turn this into a culture that we can be proud of, and they spoke in all that ridiculousness. Now, oh, no. We're going to be in the top part of the ACC. We're going to be in the NCAA tournament next year. That is drawing hard lines in the sand. Right now, if you're not those things, next season, we get to play this audio back that we just played, and we get to go, we get to go full Maury on you, right? And the lie detector proved that was a lie. Like, that's what we get to do. You're putting yourself on a limb, and that's that combative confidence, right? That's that combative confidence. He is not afraid of high expectations, and he is not afraid of a fight. He talked about matching up with the powerhouses in the ACC. Jump to that last clip there, Graham. This is Will Wade at his introductory press conference as the head coach of NC State men's basketball about competing with the other powerhouses in what recently was the best college basketball conference in the country, although maybe not this year.
ACC is one of the premier basketball conferences in the country. And we've got to hold up our end of the bargain. I mean, NC State, in my opinion, is one of the major brands in this league. And for ACC basketball to be good, NC State basketball needs to be good. And that's what we're going to do. And I think the better we are, the better the league will be. And like I said, I know we've got some bully neighbors and that sort of thing, but we're not worried about them. If we worry about ourselves, all that other stuff will take care of itself. And we're focused on ourselves And, we want them to turn around and be chasing us. And so that's the focus. If we do what we're supposed to do, that's what's going to happen.
There's that bully neighbors thing. I think State fans would have liked a little bit more of that combativeness there. But other than that, I mean, not afraid, not afraid, not afraid. There was also multiple references to resources. Now, resources are the code word for NIL revenue sharing money, essentially. Right? How many resources do you have? Boo Corrigan, the athletic director, was part of the introduction for Will Wade, and he said NC State has the resources to win big consistently. Will Wade was asked about it in the Q&A with the media, and he brought up once again that they have the resources to win big consistently. I took notes throughout. He understands, just to give everybody, like, he acknowledges that they will not have the most NIL money nationally. He believes they will be competitive at the upper end of the league, talking about the ACC. The upper end of the ACC and NIL, you're doing okay. He used the analogy, we don't need the biggest house, but you can have the most well-kept, the most manicured lawn, which means, like, if we get close, we're going to be so awesome that people want to come play for us. That's all I think the ACC teams need. I've talked about the big mistake that the ACC has made, meaning individual teams have made over the last 5 years. It's assuming that they didn't have to do what other teams had to do. Oh, the SEC, the Big Ten, those schools have to pay top dollar to get players. We don't have to do that because we're the ACC, right? They'll see the value in just coming to play for us. We don't have to match the money. I don't think the big programs like NC State, the flag bearers in the conference, have to match the money of some of these other schools, but they have to get close, right? Then you can start selling on the manicured lawn, right? If I'm looking for a house, to use his analogy, and I need 5 bedrooms and 3.5 baths because I got a growing family, I might be able to make it work with 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. I can't make it work with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. You know what I mean? So you just got to get close, and then it starts mattering about location and everything else. Same is true. I can't outbid, $1 million for a shooting guard. But if I get to $800,000 and someone else is offering $1 million, then I can start talking about history and environment and the ability to develop into a pro and all of these things. If they're at $1 million and I'm at $200,000, it doesn't exactly matter. And then the last part I'll bring up is the history he's had at LSU, the NCAA infractions, the things that led to his firing at LSU, the FBI investigation that he was caught on the wiretap talking about paying players before it was allowed. He did address it. He did address it, and we have some of that audio for you, and I have more notes here. So Will Wade on what he's learned, on how much he's grown, not only as a head coach, but as a person during his coaching career, obviously including the LSU situation.
Everything's not nearly as important maybe as I thought it was at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, basketball and winning is very, very important. But I have a little bit better perspective now on where that fits in the grand scheme of things. It was important to me to learn about the university. Before I took jobs, we were just there to win a basketball. I want to help build stuff around the university and help other departments in the university and be a good team member. And that wasn't always how you would describe Will Wade. And so, I have I've spent a lot of time on that. And when you get, as Boo said, you climb up that ladder pretty quick. Well, they take those legs out on that ladder real quick too. And when you get knocked off that thing, you got to have some hard conversations with yourself. And I think that allows you to change and allows you to move forward and be better.
I actually thought the spin zone earlier in the press conference was pretty good from him. Talked about the LSU player, the LSU coach that he was. He told the State faithful in attendance, "You will get the same passion and competitive fire that I had at LSU without the arrogance that got me in trouble." That sounds like somebody that learned a lesson, right? I can keep the good, I'll do away with the bad. If you get the good part of Will Wade at LSU, the SEC champion part of Will Wade at LSU, and you remove the arrogant part that thought he was above the law, that the rules didn't apply to him, you get a really good basketball coach that knows how to recruit, knows how to win, knows how to fundraise. I thought it was a very, very good press conference for Will Wade. Obviously, he's got to prove it on the court, but that starts with proving it in the portal, which has opened today. Actually, it opened yesterday, for being real, and it's been absolutely crazy. And you know what? I'll say this, and we're going to touch on this when we come back. If you're looking at your favorite team and they're not one of the teams in the Sweet 16, or even if they are, how well your team deals with the portal is how good your team is going to be next year. It's direct correlation. I'll explain coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Hey, I know Cooper Flagg didn't win all of the awards. He won the 2 major ones. He got Player of the Year. He got Rookie of the Year. Neither were unanimous, which blows my mind. But he should have won Defensive Player of the Year as well. And John Shire was the Coach of the Year. Yes, I know Duke has all these great players. They were 19-1. They were 28-3. Historical point differential. Come on.
The Adam Gold Show, weekday starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Spring is here, and there's no better time to let a new career blossom. The Wake County Public School System is hiring special education instructional assistants and bus drivers, and we need dedicated individuals to help transport kids and provide instruction to motivated students. You'll love our competitive salaries and comprehensive benefits, including retirement, and will enjoy a welcoming, positive culture that will motivate you every day. Apply now at careers.wcpss.net and discover a place where anything is possible.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice for more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Rebound, Middlebrooks, right post, spins, Lane into a double team, throws it up into the foul. Brady push from Middlebrooks, 4:27 to play, pack up 3.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm not exactly sure how. Eligibility stopped making sense to me completely in college basketball, but Ben Middlebrooks is in the transfer portal. NC State big man. Played 2 years at Clemson. Played 2 years at NC State. One of those years not being the year where you get the extra COVID year, so he wasn't around for that. He's in the transfer portal, I guess, just hoping that the NCAA goes, you know what, you can keep playing. That one, again, there might be a reason for it. I don't know it. But what I do know is that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to craziness in the portal. And there's a graphic going around. I'll explain it to you briefly. It shows it's going around on social media. It's actually a funny little game if you want to try to play it. It is a graphic that shows the logo of the original school for the starters in the Sweet 16. Okay? It's so, for example, if you had a player that started at like their freshman year was at Marquette, and then they transferred to one of the schools playing in the Sweet 16, the logo that would show is Marquette. And basically it's to show how dramatic the transfer portal has impacted these teams. Of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16, one is starting 5 players that all started at that school, whose first year was at that school. One. Only Purdue starts 5 players that started their career at Purdue. Only Purdue, Michigan State, and Duke out of the Sweet 16 start even 4 players that started at their current school. Here's where it gets crazy. 50% of the Sweet 16, 50, so 8 teams, right? Hey, I'm not great at on-air math, but I can do that one. 8 out of the 16 Sweet 16 teams start 5 players that began their careers at 5 different schools. That's how crazy this is. That's how wild this is. So if you look at Arizona, who's playing Duke on Thursday, their starting lineup began their career at North Carolina, Alabama, Campbell, what looks like Bryant, maybe a logo I don't even recognize, a Bear, and Tennessee. That's where their starting lineup began. And 8 of the 16 have 5 different original beginnings to their career. How well you do in the portal is how good your team will be. You can't complain and ignore it. There was a tweet from Jim Larrañaga, the Miami coach that ran out on his team halfway through this year. Remember Jim Larrañaga? Remember George Mason, Final Four, Miami, Final Four. Halfway through this year, he said, I don't like it, and he ran away. He tweeted out yesterday, the portal opened today. Over 900 players entered. The NIL auction begins. The highest bidder wins. Good luck to the players and coaches. Because that's what coaches tell players to do, right? When your job gets tougher, when something out of your control makes your job more difficult, you run away and make jokes about the people that stay. Right? You retire and go sail off into the sunset, and then you turn around and sarcastically talk about the coaches that are still trying to coach and the players that are still trying to win. No, you can't complain and run away unless you're willing to go retire. If you want to compete, if you want to be in the Sweet 16, you better play the portal pretty darn well. Because only Purdue was able to do it with 5 starters that began at Purdue. Every other team needed at least one transfer in their starting lineup to get to the Sweet 16. So we can play the game with Will Wade being introduced as the head coach at NC State and him saying we are going to, meaning him talking about the Wolfpack are going to make it to the NCAA tournament next year, and they're going to be in the top group, the top part of the ACC. The reason he can say that so confidently is because he knows he can rebuild that team on the fly. That's how it is now. And it's not just getting the program changers. It's not just getting the number 1, number 2 guys out of the portal. It's not just getting the 20-point scorers. It's getting the right complementary pieces. It's getting the right shooters if you don't have shooting on your team, the right bigs if you don't have post rim protection on your team. It's about getting the right team put together. Some names that are already in the portal, NC State Mike James. He's played a grand total of 0 minutes for NC State, yet he goes into the portal as former NC State guard. He averaged almost 13 points per game for Louisville last year. Showed up, never got healthy.
Very interesting storyline for Mike James.
6'5", junior, and the crazy part is, once you average almost 13 points in a power conference, there will be suitors.
That's one that I think NC State fans are never going to figure it out. They'll always be scratching their head when it comes to the name Mike James.
Mike James, MJ Rice. There's a few that'll go down in that same little category. Dennis Parker Jr. in the transfer portal from NC State. I really liked him at times last year. Weird, I think it was an illness popped up and kind of, I don't know, made everybody off kilter. Virginia forward TJ Powers in the portal. Started his career at Duke, top 20 recruit a couple years ago. Clemson forward Chauncey Wiggins, who's 6'10". Notre Dame forward Tay Davis, who averaged 15 points in the ACC. There's a bunch of them, right?
There's one more for NC State, by the way. Bryce Hurd. 3 hours ago, entered the transfer portal.
Spent 1 year as a touted freshman at NC State. The reason I bring up the state ones is because those are all roster spots.
Yeah.
Right? Those are all roster. And O'Connell's on the way out, right? The guys who just exhaust their eligibility, they're also on the way out. So there's options there. There's roster spots. There's ways to work. And that's true for every team. And it makes it, annoying. Let's just call a spade, right? It makes it annoying from a fan's perspective because if you showed like signs of improvement late in the season, you don't get to go, all right, that team's gonna hit the ground running next year because chances are it's going to be a completely different team. But it also provides eternal hope. 900 players went into the portal on day one. 900 players. Now that's 900 opportunities if you look at it glass half full. Right? 900 players that might transfer or transform your program. 900 players that might be the veteran voice your young guys need. 900 players that might make the shot. But coaches have to pick the right out of those 900, the correct out of those 900. You could argue the best thing that the teams in the Sweet 16 have done is pick the right players. Sion James for Duke. Tulane 4-year guard who's built like a linebacker and actually has a little quirky release on his shot. That's the guy that kind of unlocked Duke. Right? Duke's playing Arizona on Thursday, okay? Duke already played Arizona. Right? They beat them by, 14, 15 points early on in the season. You go back and watch that game. Duke had trouble in the half-court offense. But do you know what else you notice? Caleb Foster started on the perimeter and played like 26, 27 minutes. Sion James wasn't quite in the rotation. Or he was in the rotation, but didn't quite have the role he has now. When Sion James went into the starting lineup as a veteran transfer and solidified or stabilized things in the half-court offense, Duke went up to another level. That's what a transfer can do. That's what a transfer can do. You can be frustrated by, I want to buy a jersey of these guys and all these other things, and now they're on the way out. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. That part of it does stink. But also the ability to turn your program around so quickly is almost exclusively because of the portal. 4 of the Sweet 16 teams have coaches in their first year. 4. That was impossible 15 years ago because new coaches would come in. It would take them 3 years to, get the former coaches' players off the roster and get guys who were in their system better on the roster. It was just a slower deal. Everybody has hope with the portal, and it's open. It's wide open. Just got to take advantage of it in the right way. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, as always. Subscribe, like, comment while you're there. Wait till after the show to check out the long-form videos because you got the live thing right here, listening in on the radio or however you're listening, streaming, YouTube Live, all those things. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, gets to the Dean's List, and I promise you this, there's at least one big round of applause for the Triangle women's basketball teams absolutely wiping up in the women's side of NCAA tournament action. Stick around.
Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Folks, it's March. Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's the Jeep Celebration event at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get ready for the ride of your life with 25% off your new 2024 Jeep Gladiator. Cruise through the toughest terrain, tackle any adventure, and look great doing it. Whether you're off-roading or on the road, the Gladiator is built for all. So get off your keister and get to Heister because this deal won't last long. See dealer for details. Hurry into the Jeep Celebration event. On now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Progressive knows you got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away. Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending and Carey. Way back in the mid to late 80s, rates were all over the map, much as they are today. And what bothered me the most was seeing homeowners constantly chasing lower rates by paying upwards of $15,000 in closing costs each time. There had to be a better way, considering no one was keeping their new loan long enough to truly benefit. So it was during that time that Miller Lending discovered a way to offer a true no-closing cost loan. With nothing charged or rolled in, customers were now able to realize immediate savings, as even a drop of 0.5% could save them thousands of dollars over the life of a new loan. Imagine eliminating the need for timing as you simply close on today's rates and refinance as soon as something better comes along. Fact is, Miller Lending hates closing costs. So before you throw away thousands of dollars chasing a rate you may not like a year from now, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
Here's James. Count it. And let's see if that gets her going. A walking bucket is Isaiah James.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, part of the stat that I wanted to add before the break, and I just got caught up yelling and screaming about the portal. Part of the reason I believe why the Sweet 16 teams are so transfer heavy, right? Only one team in the starting lineup doesn't have at least one transfer, is because the coaches are so new. 10 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams have coaches that have been there for 4 years or less. So even if they just showed up and cleaned house once when they first got on campus, they would have transfers all over their roster because of that reason. As I said, May at Michigan is in his first year. Pope at Kentucky is in his first year. Young at BYU is in his first year. Calipari at Arkansas is in his first year. Beard at Ole Miss is in his second year. McCaslin at Texas Tech is in his second year. These are pretty brand new coaches. Golden and Shire at Florida and Duke with 1 seeds are in their third year. So if the coaches are moving around a lot, the transfers are going to be moving around a lot as well.
I know we have to get to the Dean's list, but as it relates to NC State, do you think a reason why we're seeing some guys already entering the portal is because maybe there's just a loyalty to Keats there as far as guys that he brought in, but besides Mike James, this is a different story. Or maybe they just realize that Will Wade might be, I don't know if clean house is the right term, but, bring in some of his guys in the portal.
Here's what I believe is happening at NC State and why everyone on NC State's roster should go into the portal. You can go back, right? So I'm actually gonna break this down. So I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna say who because I don't know if they want their business out there. But somebody approached me recently, a parent of a college athlete, not basketball, different sport, but I'm not gonna say what sport, and said, they've been playing, they're on this team, they have a great time, they've had success, all these things. Their coach just left to take another job. What do you advise us? Should we hit the portal, right? We don't know if there's options out there. What should we do? We just don't know. And I put them in touch with someone in their sport that I trust. I was like, hey, this person would be a better bit of advice for you. And that person, who is, I think, gave the right advice, said, go in the portal. Nobody in the world will blame you for checking out your options while there's a coaching change going on. It's like a free look at what's out there, right? And as long as you are like an upstanding part of the community and you really were productive last year, the coach will welcome you back, right? If you're a good player, the next coach, whoever it is. So like nobody is going to blame Trey Parker or Paul McNeil if they want to go. Those are NC State young players that showed promise this year. If they want to go check out what's in the portal, see their options. And then if Will Wade goes, hey, come back, they can always come back, right? It's a free look at what your options are because everybody's kind of uneasy right now. A new coach makes you uneasy, and it should. So entering the portal, I mean, NC State knows this from football. Aiden White went into the portal last offseason. They're starting cornerback. Oh, no, you got to go find do they have the depth? You got to go find another one out of the portal. You got to replace him. A couple weeks later, he was like, never mind. He came back, and he was their corner again. He's performing at pro day today.
Seth Trimble last year entered the portal and then came back. I feel like it might be a different story for him this year, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And if he goes into the portal, again, you don't, as long as you think you have value, right? If you stink and you haven't been practicing well and you have no production, then if you go into the portal, they don't have to welcome you back. Like your scholarship could be gone. So be more careful there. But if you have value, if you've shown something at the Power 5 level, Power 4 level, there's nobody that is going to fault you for just taking a look around. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. With that being said, let's jump to the Dean's List. Class is in session. So the Dean's List, where we highlight those that deserve a little extra praise in the college basketball world. Sorry, college sports world, but right now it's basketball. We do have a rule. We set a rule before the ACC tournament. As soon as it became like one and done, right? If you lose the ACC tournament, for the most part in the ACC, you go home and your season's over. Obviously, once the NCAA tournament started, everybody's that way. We said if an ACC player scores 25 or more points in a win, you are automatically on the Dean's List. Yesterday, we didn't get to the Dean's List because we had callers coming in and we didn't want to turn off that faucet. So we haven't gotten here yet, but Tyrese Proctor is an automatic Dean's Lister. He had 25 points for an ACC team in a tournament win when he put exactly 25 on the board for Duke against Baylor. 7 threes made. So there's 21 of the points right there. It was a really, really good day for Tyrese Proctor. He had, I think it was 3 threes in the first half as Duke was kind of battling with Baylor. And then the second half, he had a stretch there where he ended it. He landed the knockout blow with, I think it was 3 threes on darn near consecutive possessions, all off that left wing.
I think there's a stat that I read where he's the first player since 2010, maybe even been John Shire, first player since 2010 to score 5 or more threes in back-to-back games of the NCAA tournament. So that's a rare clubhouse for Tyrese Proctor to be in.
It was a funny moment in the post-game press conference because it was Proctor, Cooper Flagg, and Shire. And Tyrese Proctor was asked about, hey, you're the first guy since John Shire to have 5 or more threes in back-to-back tournament games. And Shire, hold on, everybody. Can you say that again? They don't believe I could play. So it was obviously after a win, vibes were high.
And Tyrese, he was like, what was the question? He was like, I was just soaking that in for a second.
Yeah, they had their laughs. Another Dean's List member, Derek Queen from Maryland. Game winner versus Colorado State. I don't think people realize how actually rare true buzzer beaters are.
That was the first one of the tournament, too.
First one of the tournament. There aren't true buzzer beaters, like ball in the air, time expires. There's, with 1 second left or near buzzer beaters. It's pretty rare to have an actual buzzer beater. There's not one in every tournament. And it was the first of this tournament. And the reason why he makes it is because he had his Jimmy Chitwood moment, right? The coach of Maryland said in that last huddle with timeout, they basically said, who wants it? And he said, I want the bleeping ball, right? It's Jimmy Chitwood, right? I'll make the shot. You get your moment, and then you live up to it. He was also, I feel like we could say this about every player. Derek Queen, high school teammates with Cooper Flagg.
Oh, wow.
The leading scorer on Maryland, leading scorer on UConn, leading scorer on Georgia, starting point guard for Baylor, and Cooper Flagg were the starting 5 at their high school last year. That's absurd. Final Dean's List entry for today. Unless Graham, do you have one you want to throw in here? I put you on the spot.
I have one that I'm going to go with, but I'm going to wait for you to give yours because it kind of matches. I kind of read between the lines of what your Dean's List was going to be or your final one, so I'll let you go first.
I'm going with NC State women's basketball versus Michigan State. I'm going with that. And by the way, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and say yours.
My Dean's List is going to be Alyssa Utsby.
Okay.
Of UNC Women's. Yep.
Perfect. Those are the Deans. You can cut the music. We'll turn this into its own segment because it's deserving of. But they're on the Dean's List. You can note that. Here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Class dismissed.
The Triangle has continued dominating women's basketball. Duke, UNC, NC State, you name the order, all hosted the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, and they all won the first 2 rounds to advance to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. Duke made it to the Sweet 16 with a kind of grinding win over number 10 Oregon on Sunday. So they were the first to punch their ticket, 59-53. If you're looking for someone to highlight there, it'd probably be Ashlyn Jackson, 20 points, 5 made threes. Very good day for her. Second-seeded Duke made it on through. Yesterday, both UNC and NC State punched their ticket to the Sweet 16. You brought up Alyssa Utsby. Do you want to go ahead and explain why she was your selection?
Well, I found it funny because I didn't know this, that you and Dennis had made that rule where once you get to the ACC tournament, if you score 25 points, you automatically qualify. She had 21 points, but she scored 16 of those after halftime to help North Carolina beat West Virginia. Fifth-year senior. Her big night included 10 third-quarter points for third seed who reached the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2022.
There you go. It was also, she's a five-year player all at one. That was her last game in Carmichael, their home arena. To have a day like that and get to leave your home arena on a good note, I always feel bad, and maybe it's because I had one of these. I feel bad for people that have bad senior days. And I'm not talking about individually because, it's not an individual sport. But if you get smoked on your senior day, it's just bad ending.
Your cousin Mike Glennon almost went through the exact same thing.
Almost,
though. Almost. And
he turned it around in a way that we did not on my
led to the greatest comeback in NC State football history.
Yeah, that was a different beast. NC State, let's talk NC State quickly here and the reason why I put them in the Dean's List and didn't just name everybody is because their advancement to the Sweet 16 was a different level of dominance than the other. The other two, hey, win in advance, right? You have to win the games. Inch or a mile, winning is winning. State smoked 7-seeded Michigan State. 83-49, and it wasn't that close.
I want to say it's the largest margin of victory in a women's NCAA tournament game.
Perhaps. I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, it was over like 4 minutes in. You're just checking scores, right? Because we were either on air or about to go on air. And it was just like you update, and it's like, oh, they're ahead by 30 already. Look at that. How did that happen?
And the irony in all of this, in Michigan State's pre-press conference to the game, they talked about how much high praise they had for their team's defense and kind of gave NC State women's basketball all the bulletin board material that they needed. Without any of the players actually watching the press conference, they just focused on their own game, and it showed perfectly for the women Wolfpack.
Let's hear from the women Wolfpack. Isaiah James scored 26 points, had 6 rebounds, went 6 of 11 from 3. We're giving all the hype to Tyrese Proctor for making 6 threes in 3 straight games. Isaiah James knocked in 6 from deep as well for the Wolfpack. Here's James on getting a statement win in her final home game as part of the Wolfpack.
You know, it means so much. You know, I've been here for all my 4 years, and, you know, just to do that for my last game and, you know, show Wolfpack Nation a love from off the court, you know, it means a lot to me and Madison and Sanaya.
Look at that. Means a lot. A good senior day. I know it's not senior day, but they knew it was going to be their last game at home, even if it was technically an NCAA tournament game. James was asked what it was like to walk off the court at Reynolds, again, that home court, one last time.
And Wolfpack Nation just been behind my back since I came here. Just the love that they bring, you know, they're not just fans, they're our family. They take care of us. I keep going back to last year when we came back from Portland, like 3 a.m. in the morning, they was here for us. It's just to show the support they have for us, and, you know, without them, we can't be us.
There you go. All 3 teams in the Sweet 16, which is nice for the Triangle. Do you know what both tournaments are missing, men's and women's?
What's that?
Cinderellas, mid-majors. If you look at the women's tournament, I guess the closest thing to like a Cinderella you'd have is 5th-seeded Kansas State. If you look at the men's tournament, there's nobody out of a power conference. It's the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12. That's it. There's no Cinderellas. Does that bum anybody else out?
No Oral Roberts. No Loyola Chicago.
No Loyola Chicago, no VCU, no Wichita, no Butler, no Florida Gulf Coast, no Fairleigh Dickinson, no St. Peter's, none of that. None of them. There are no Cinderellas this year. Does that bother anybody else? Because part of the NCAA tournament, I know that you want to have the Final Four with Blue Bloods because that's what the ratings will tell you. But when the first weekend doesn't have any of it, and I noticed it a bit last year. Last year there was more. But when the state men went on their run, right, they were an 11 seed, made all the way to the Final Four. People started calling them a Cinderella. I was going like, that's not – they're a long shot because they haven't played well this year. But you can't have multiple national championships in your history and be a Cinderella.
Fair enough.
Like that's a different beast, right? If UNC made it to the Sweet 16 this year, I wouldn't have been going like, what a Cinderella. It'd be a long shot because they were an 11 seed, but it's not the same thing. So the NCAA tournament doesn't have any Cinderellas, men's, women's. Why? Well, Jay Williams, former Duke guard, ESPN analyst, was on Get Up, and he thinks he has the cause.
NIL is the death of mid-major Cinderella runs. And I think it still can happen, but I think it's going to be more of a rarity, Greeny.
Because?
Well, this can be more of a rarity due to the fact that I think now we're going to see a lot of players that are playing for the Colorado States, that are playing for the McNeeses, that are playing for the Drakes, that are going to get poached by mid-level Power 4, Power 5 conferences, right? And you're going to see teams in the middle of the pack of the Big 10, the middle of the pack of the Big 12, see these players and say, hey, we'll give you 4X, we'll give you 5X what you're earning at your mid-major conference. And when I talk to mid-major coaches, the consistent complaint I always hear from them is retention. We can't hold on to players because these Power 4 schools are just clipping them and taking them away from us. And that's why I think you're seeing chalk as much as you're seeing right now as we get to the Sweet 16. You're not seeing any mid-major left. You're going to see the big boys, and I think that's going to be the case moving forward.
Few things. NIL is the easiest target in the world. Everybody wants to point at players making money as the root of all problems that exist. It's not that the players are making money. The issue is they've started making, actually I'm not even going to include making money. It's the portal's fault. It was always a bigger dream. It always looked more fun. It was always more desirable to play in front of 30,000 people or 20,000 people in a Power 5 conference than it was to play for a mid-major. Always. 100%. You just couldn't make the jump before, right? If you had an all-MAC sophomore year, you didn't want to sit out your junior year to play your senior year somewhere else, so you stayed in the MAC. You weren't staying out of loyalty because it would have been more fun to play at Duke or Kentucky or Kansas if they called. So the fact that you can make more money at those places doesn't change the fact that they're more desirable. They've always been more desirable. The difference is the transfer portal makes it so they can bounce. So take NIL out of it. It's the portal's fault. Now I'm going to try to be a solutions guy, not just the problems guy. If we acknowledge that players making money is part of the game, it's how it should be. If you fill a stadium with people to watch you and they're paying customers, you should get your cut. If you're making money and the portal is willy-nilly, what do we change to make it so Cinderellas can exist because we all agree it's part of the secret sauce of March Madness? Ready for this? Right, because players are starting to be professional. You ready for this? Negotiate multi-year contracts for players. Negotiate multi-year contracts. Not just we promise to pay you this amount for 2 years or 4 years or every year you're on campus. Make them mutually enforceable. You commit to playing for us for 3 years, we'll get you $100,000 a year. If we don't live up to our $100,000, you can leave. And if you want to bounce, you got to give us our money back. That's how it goes, right? That's how professional sports work. These players getting paid. It's professional sports just with a college tinge.
I was going to say a salary cap, but your solution sounds a lot better.
I mean, the deal is a school, and I'll use my own school, University of Delaware, right? That's where I went. Delaware finds you when you're a high school recruit that nobody wants, right? You're a high school recruit that the big power conferences have no interest in, so Delaware comes in and offers you a chance to play college basketball, right? Other levels of Delaware, other mid-majors want you, but that's what you are. So Delaware should be able to say, and it could be Campbell, it could be UNCW, it could be High Point, it could be ECU, name your mid-major. They find you when those schools don't want you. They should be able to say, listen, I want a 3-year commitment, a 2-year commitment for X amount of dollars. That way, you have an all-conference rookie first year, your freshman year. You can't bounce right away unless you fulfill the obligations of the contract, right? So it's either you can't leave because you have a contract, can't play for anyone else like pro, or maybe there's a big buyout, right? If NC State wants to go take the MAC player of the year, they have to buy him out of the contract for, say, whatever value's left. That way, the mid-major now has more money to go buy a player to replace the one that left. There's the multi-year commitment is the secret sauce. And you can negotiate, right? Say you are a player coming out of high school, you're dead set on making it to the Power 5 level. You are thinking, I am going to play 1 year and then every blue blood is going to want me. Okay, then the mid-major, the UNCW, can say, we'd love to have you, but we're not going to give you $100,000 a year. We're not going to give you $50,000 a year. We'll give you $15,000 on a 1-year deal. Granted, it's a 1-year deal. You can leave after this season if you want. And then they just get a good player on for the cheap for a year. It's when you commit a bunch of resources developing a guy and he bounces as soon as he builds value. That's the issue. So it all comes back to the same issue, which has been obvious from the beginning. The NCAA severely mismanaged darn near everything about the changes in college sports. They dropped the ball, not in letting players make money or benefit off their name, image, and likeness. I don't even care, right? People get real mad that they're not doing anything for the NIL. Boosters are just giving them money. Who cares? That's not where the NCAA messed up. They effed up in not having a structure for how all of this money would be tabulated, how it would be not even controlled, but structured. They didn't put structure in place. And because of that, now we're looking at an NCAA tournament with none of the magic. It has all of the substance, right? We're getting, like, on the women's side, we're getting Duke, Carolina on Friday. We're getting Duke, Arizona on the men's side, right? We're getting great matchups. It has, like, the meat, right? It has the center of the plate option. It doesn't have the magic fairy dust sprinkled on top of that one awesome team that's just riding a hot streak. And the NCAA could have preserved that if they just had the foresight to put the proper structures in place. And then, yeah, who knows? Maybe Lipscomb would have beat Iowa State, and it would be Michigan State Lipscomb, and we'd all be learning about the magic of Lipscomb. Or McNeese State with Will Wade would have been, like, who knows? There would have been that extra something special.
There has to be that one team that always gets a little more extra, an extra spot in the one shot a moment recap video at the end of the season. I mean, I know we covered Duke, but how much fun is it really going to be if it's just highlights of Tyrese Proctor and Cooper Flagg Duncan the whole time?
It's the exact point, right? Watching the games, I'd rather, again, Final Four, make no mistake, I'd rather have the best basketball played. But one shining moment, I do need a couple mid-major, like, buzzer beaters or throwing the ball in the air after you upset Michigan State. Like
Sister Jane.
Sister Jane. I mean, we know him. Who was in if we went around and asked, like, who was in the Sweet 16 the past 10 years, you'd guess Kansas, but you wouldn't exactly know what year. But we'd be like, hey, remember that one year? Sister Jean, Loyola Chicago? You would be able to pinpoint it exactly because those moments are memorable. That's missing this year. And all it would take to guarantee them their return, multi-year contracts. So we'll use, what's his name? Terrence Edwards at Louisville, right? Terrence Edwards at Louisville was the Sunbelt, there it is, Sunbelt Player of the Year at James Madison. If he had a multi-year contract, he would either have to stay at James Madison or Louisville would have had to give James Madison the buyout money in order to go find his replacement. JMU might have been good enough then to go on a little run, win their conference, and be that Cinderella. If Louisville wants the Sunbelt Player of the Year to transfer to them, there should be a way that Sunbelt team gets some value back because they developed him. They helped him become the basketball player that led Louisville in scoring this year. Put some structure on it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do often say that, I should be the czar of sports, right? I should just give me all of the power and I'll fix it. Seems easy. Famous last words. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, football at 4. What should the Panthers do at number 8? Stick around.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Corner three by Murray. It's good! Timeout! Clemson!
From the first 4 to the national championship.
Blocked by Shoemate and stolen away by McNeese.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
McNeese for the upset. Let the March Madness begin.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Brooks and Dunn, the best-selling duo of all time live.
Something country.
Neon Moon Tour 2025.
Urban neon.
With David Lee Murphy and Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway.
Up that red dirt road.
March 27th, Lenovo Center, Raleigh. On sale now at livenation.com. Brooks and Dunn Live.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. What a pretty afternoon out there. Lots of sunshine, a little bit breezy, but a high of 71. We do have high fire danger again, so you're encouraged not to do any outdoor burning. Rain tonight could start as early as 6 or 7 o'clock, lasting till around midnight. 46 the overnight low. And then we're back to sunshine tomorrow, but it will be cooler with highs in the mid-60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 6 points at 42,589. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have to give a hat tip to one of our listeners for this this next question because he asked it to me on social media. Cornelius is the one. I don't know if that's his real name. Could just be a name that he uses on Twitter. But the question was a simple one. For football at 4 today, we're looking at the Panthers. Obviously, they have the 8th overall pick. The question was simple. Who do the Panthers want to draft at 8 with the 8th overall pick that they can't trade back and still get? Right? Because I'll tell you right now, and it's actually, I don't want to call it annoying because love our listeners and I love the feedback. The frequency of the comment is a little repetitive for me. Trade back, trade back, trade back. Every time I float out like, oh, this edge rusher could be the pick at 8. Trade back is better. Hey, could it be Teteroa McMillan? Trade back is better. Would they consider a corner? Trade back is better. I get it. You want to trade back. And I actually think trading back is most fan base's number one option, right? Because in their mind, it's like, you know, the magic beans. We could trade back and get 900 picks. That's 900 all-pros. Right? Why get one all-pro when we can get 4 all-pros for trading back? But there is this question, right? Who do the Panthers want at 8 that they can't trade back and still get? Becomes an interesting deal, because a lot of the names mentioned by the analysts, the mock drafters, and I know that's an inexact science, but a lot of the names mentioned for the Panthers at 8 seem to be falling, right? Teteroa McMillan we mentioned. He seemed like a lock to go top 10 a month ago, but based on some of the buzz, he might be falling into the mid to late first. Some of the edge rushers, Mykel Williams didn't run fast enough at his pro day. Jalen Carter might be a little smaller. James Pierce is pretty consistently being mocked into the late part of the first. Mike Green has some off-the-field stuff in his past that is reportedly giving teams pause. Those are the players that I saw most often mocked to the Panthers at number 8. Now, the answer to the question is simple. Like, if they want Michigan corner Will Johnson, if Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, or Penn State tight end Tyler Warren fall a bit, and those are the players you want, I think you have to stick and pick at 8. But what if the Panthers, right? Then now it's mock draft season, so what if we're okay with it now? What if the Panthers truly want James Pierce Jr., guy from Charlotte, went to Tennessee? If he were 20 pounds heavier, he'd be in the mix for being a top 3 pick. He's an edge rusher. What if they have at the top of it, like number 1 on their wish list is James Pierce Jr. And they are confident he won't be drafted before pick 17. Well, if you can move back, even if you only get $1, if you move back and you get the guy that you would have drafted anyway, that's good business, right? Because when fans scream at me, move back, oh, trade back, my thought always is, well, you want to make sure you get a return. My thought always is it takes 2 to tango. Somebody has to want to move up in order to let you move back. But if you're willing to trust your gut, trust your double secret agents that are giving you info from around the league that say the next 5 picks are definitely not the player you want, and you have your friends across the league telling you that, if you trust it, well, then you can almost sell your pick for a discount. We'll give you the 8th pick for the price of the 10th pick, because getting anything additional and the player we would have drafted 8th is better than getting nothing additional and taking that player 8th. Do you know what that is, though? Baller. That is nervy as heck. That is, I can't imagine the intensity in that draft room as you try to pull that off. We want Jalen Carter, linebacker, Georgia. We have the 8th pick. He's available at the 8th pick. He's there. We can pick him. He's ours. But our information says, our analysis says, he'd be available at 20. So who has the 20th pick? That's Denver, right? Denver wants to move up and get Genty. And he's available at 8 too. So we go, all right, give us your offer. And they maybe don't knock our socks off. They don't Godfather offer us, right? They're not making us an offer we can't refuse. But we accept the deal anyway. Why? Because we're confident Jalen Carter is going to be there at 20, so getting anything is better. Can you imagine that weight, those 12 picks? Every time that little ding-ding-ding pick is in, every time the commissioner walks to the front of that podium and says, with the next pick, and you're just sitting there fingers crossed going, don't say Jalen Carter, don't say and every time they don't, there's a little fist bump, but you know you still have a long way to go. That's real nervy. Now, if you can pull it off, if your information is correct, if you pull it off, you get an extra second, you get an extra couple of, I don't know what the compensation would be, a couple of thirds, you get the extra compensation, and your player that you would have taken at 8, you get him later on in the draft, you are a genius. Dan Morgan, GM of the Panthers. But if he gets drafted 14th, if somebody threw you the old okey doke, if they said, no, we're not interested, and then they take him, if your information, your double secret agents, your reconnaissance was wrong, you look like a fool because you sold your 8th pick at a discount and you didn't get your guy. Now you're settling for your 2nd, 3rd, 4th option and you didn't get the value you wanted. That's tough. It's a risk. And Dan Morgan has not shown patience in the draft. He has not shown to be the type of guy, the type of GM that trades back and then waits. What did he do to go get Xavier Legette? He traded up one pick. It's my least favorite move in the NFL. Trading up one pick. He went from 33 to 32 up to get Xavier Legette. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. By the way, I hate any time you trade up one pick because, if the player was that good, the team right there wouldn't have been passing it to you. Who's next? They're moving one back. You probably had to tell them who you're drafting. It's. I just don't like it. It reeks of desperation. What else did Dan Morgan do last year? He actually traded back in the second round. Got one of the largest hauls in the history of trading away a second-round pick. Because the Rams wanted to go up and get the defensive tackle from Florida State. Traded back, and I was like, look at this. That's great. What'd they do right after that? They couldn't wait for the pick that they had, the other second-rounder that they had. They had to trade up to get who? Jonathan Brooks, a running back who was actively had a torn ACL. You didn't think he would make it to your pick? It would be a complete role reversal. It would be a complete 180 from what we've seen from Dan Morgan to pull off the type of value addition that we're talking about here. More than likely what would happen is he would trade from 8 to 17, whatever it is, and then he would trade up to 15 and give up a lot of that value because he's desperate to get it. Like, that's what we've seen. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's different strokes for different GMs. Some GMs, volume shooters. Right? I trade back, I get as many picks as possible, and I hope that 2 or 3 of them pan out. Right? Think Belichick at the prime of the Patriots. Right? He'll trade back and turn his first into 2 seconds. He'll trade one of those seconds into 2 thirds. He'll turn one of those thirds into 2 fourths. And by the end of the draft, he's got an extra pick in every round. And then he'll cut 2 of them before the next season starts because he's cold-blooded. Like their volume. And then there are teams that are get your guy. Right? If I'm picking at 8 and I want this player, why would I trade out of 8 if that player's available? That's my guy. And if that's what the Panthers are going to be, that's fine. But then fans have to learn not to continue yelling, trade back, trade back, trade back. Because that's just not in the DNA of the GM. Now, if you do that, you have to have a bit higher hit rate, right? You have to, if you're always picking your guy, and regardless of if it's a player with a second-round grade by most, you take him in the first because it's your guy, you have to be right. You're going to be on an outlier, you have to be right, but that's fine. Like, trust your gut if that's what your gut's telling you. If you want James Pierce, you think he's going to be drafted 17th, there's 2 ways to make that happen, or 2 ways to act. If you want him, you can take him at 8, or you can try to trade back to somewhere between 8 and 17, get more value, and hope he's still there. But that takes a little bit of verve, and a lot of nerve, and some guts, and some people that trust you in that room. That, to me, would be one of the more tense situations in sports. You think like the final timeout huddle when you need a buzzer beater in March Madness is tense. At least everybody there is tired and they feel like they can impact it. Being in a draft room where we need this guy to fall 4 more picks. Goodness gracious. But a ding, ding, ding. A trade has been executed. Oh, no. Who's trading? Looking at all your scouts. Did you know about this? Dan Morgan's a scary individual anyway. Remember him playing linebacker. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you can pull it off, though, I will sing your praises. That's how I will end it. If you move back from 8 to somewhere else in the first round and still get one of the players that could potentially be the guy you're hoping for at 8, yeah, you will hear me on the very next show, right? That Friday show after the Thursday first round, you will hear me right here into this microphone saying, fantastic job. Credit where it is due. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm gonna give a ladder challenge pick. Dennis isn't here. Graham is. I'm going to do one anyway just because we're off schedule. And we also have Copper Drop. Oh, and by the way, all of you out there, get your Canes first goal scorer predictions ready. At 4:33, we'll be looking for Canes first goal scorer predictions. Who scores the first goal for the Canes tonight against Nashville? And in what period do you think they score it? That conversation is in our next segment at 4:33. Stick around.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 a month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you could do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For a limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roofwerks.com.
With the chance for the hat trick, and he scores! Taylor Hall, have yourself a day here in California, and here come the Hats on the road.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have first goal scorer predictions for the Canes coming up at 4:33. So, like I said before the break, start thinking. Start brainstorming. Who do you think is going to score the first goal for the Canes tonight against Nashville? And in what period do you think that goal will be scored? Bunch of good options right now, so just think about it, and we'll let you know when to call in. In the meantime, we have a ladder challenge here. Dennis isn't here, so this might not be official. Did you get something from Dennis?
No, I was just going to pick one of my own.
All right, there we go. So, again, this may not be official, but both Graham and I will give a pick. Graham, do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I'll go first. I was very tempted to go with Victoria Vodnecker's bet that she did on Place Your Bets. Mark Jankowski's plus 600 as an anytime goal scorer, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me since he's pretty much scored in every game since joining the Hurricanes.
6 of 7.
So,
6 goals in 7 games, not scored in 6 of 7 games.
Instead, I think I might go with Logan Stankoven, plus 330, the other new guy.
If there's 2 players on the Canes that I do feel are like extremely due for just an onslaught of like 6 goals in 8 games or 10 points in 12 games, something like that, it would be Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake. They both seem to be doing a lot of good things, and just for whatever reason, right, gets called back because of offside, or a post is wrong, or a goalie makes an unbelievable stop. Like they haven't gotten the production that I think would indicate how well they're playing. So Stanky and Blakers would be the 2 that I think are due.
But close to getting rewarded, sort of like Taylor Hall with the hat trick in the win against the Ducks on Sunday. So yeah, I'm going to go with Logan Stankoven plus 330.
Sure.
Yes, 330.
Last night, my ladder challenge did hit. For those of you that tracked the ladder challenge, Paulo Banchero, I said at least 30 points, rebounds, plus assists, points plus rebounds plus assists against the Lakers. He had 30 points. So, the combo wasn't necessary, but it did make it an easy hit, which brings me up to $36.80. Again, this may be unofficial, so if I get it wrong, it won't count. But if I win, I'll keep counting the money. But it won't for our competition against Dennis. Tonight, I'm just taking the Canes with plus 1.5 against the Predators.
Okay, Canes straight up.
Plus 1.5, right? That protects me against anything crazy. Nashville, I don't think is very good. Brady Shea's back in town. Those narratives matter. I think guys want to win those bragging rights against their buddy.
Or Jankowski played against his former team.
Those things matter. If it hits, it's a minus 825 bet, so likely to win, as most of our ladder bets are. They bring me up to $41.26.
Playing it safe. I like it, Tim.
Well, yeah, it's the whole thing. But yes, that's the way I'm rocking with it now. That's the ladder challenge. We'll see how it goes tomorrow when Dennis should be back on the show. In the meantime, again, 4:33, we will have first goal scorer predictions. So both Graham and I maybe indicated some guys that we like to score, like to produce points. You can come up with your own first goal scorer predictions. We'll open up the phone lines in about 12, 13 minutes. In the meantime, Cop or Drop on Tuesday. That's right, Cop or Drop. Graham, you are running the show for a little Cop or Drop action, so give us the first chance here.
Well, obviously, the big man on campus, no pun intended, is Will Wade, as he was introduced as NC State's new head basketball coach this afternoon at Reynolds Coliseum. So we'll start with that. Tim, Cop or Drop, Will Wade will have NC State return to the NCAA tournament next season.
Ooh, well, for those of you that didn't listen to the presser, Will Wade, there's no gray area to the statement. He said State will be in the NCAA tournament next year. It was not we hope to. It was not we strive to reach the highest levels. It was they will be in the NCAA tournament next year. That is, A, what you want to hear of your State. B, it was kind of convincing, if we're being real.
Yeah.
I'm going to cop it because, A, he's been honest about everything else over the last 2 weeks, right? He told his team he was looking at new jobs. He told his old athletic director that he was interviewing. Like he's answered questions when asked. So I don't know why it's he obviously has the FBI investigation stuff from LSU, but he seemed to have learned from that. So I'm taking him for his word. He thinks he can flip this.
I mean, speaking of his track record with McNeese State, LSU, VCU before that, I mean, it all pretty much checks out for you to believe him.
And the other thing that they talked a lot about at the presser was resources. And Will Wade admitted He's not expecting NC State to have the most NIL money in the country, but he did say, competitive at the top of the league. And if you give State and that brand competitive at the top of the league NIL money, meaning competitive with the top of the ACC, you're getting to the Duke is probably far enough ahead, but the UNCs, the Louisvilles, if they're in that mix, they should get really, really good players onto campus. When you mix the brand, the recent Final Four run, Will Wade's appeal, and some cash, I think they should get really good players on campus. So we'll know more in the next month when you start seeing who they pull out of the portal. But yeah, I think they can make it. I'm not expecting an ACC championship in year one, but it seems like Will Wade is, and I think that helps.
And I think the NC State fan base has proven time and time again that when you give them something to believe in, like they will go after the call to action. You saw it with Dave Doran after they blew out North Carolina 2 seasons ago, and I think right now with Will Wade, even before he was officially announced, that you started to see the money pour into Savage Wolves, one-pack NIL.
It's one of the again common refrains. I've been making a big point, and I still think it is a big point, that State has to give whoever the new coach is. This is us talking over the last month. They have to give whoever the new coach ended up being significantly more funding than Kevin Keatts got, right? And even if you think Kevin Keatts is a bad coach, right? I don't necessarily think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's John Wooden, somewhere between there. But even if you do think he's a bad coach, you still, to win at the highest levels, even good coaches needed more funding than what Kevin Keatts was given. He was given less than $3 million in NIL money per year. I think it's 7 or 8 is kind of like the cost of entry to compete for an ACC championship, 7 or 8 million. As I said that often enough, one of the common refrains I heard back from State fans, and it's almost like they got together and came up with the wording because they all said it very, very similarly. They said, we support what we believe in. And that was their way of saying, they didn't believe in Kevin Keatts. And even if they gave them money, even if they gave him gigantic collective funds, they didn't think he was going to win with it, which is kind of cold-blooded towards Keatts. But the next line is, okay, if you believe in Will Wade, put your money where your mouth is. If you support financially what you believe in, now's the time to support Will Wade if you believe in him. And it seems like rousing approval rating from the fan base.
Moving on to some transfer portal discussion. We're going to stay on North Carolina for this one, just because I'm afraid this might be a player that North Carolina fans need to try to keep in Chapel Hill. Tim, Copper Drop, Seth Trimble will enter the transfer portal for UNC.
This one's tough. I am very curious, and we're going to actually spend some time on this later this hour. On, like, if you're Hubert Davis and you just put together this GM, right, and you're putting together a new structure within Carolina basketball, when you get, to use a kind of a Keynes structure, when you get your decision makers of the round table together, who do you want back from this year's team? Right, because let's call a spade, and we did it as soon as they lost to Ole Miss. This season was not good for UNC. Right, to finish where they finished in the ACC, to finish where they finished nationally, and then to lose in the round of 64 of the NCAA tournament, that's not good for UNC, so change is needed. Which players do you want back? I think that's a really interesting question. Do you want Cadeau? Do you want Trimble? Do you want Ian Jackson, whose role was limited severely as the season went along? Do you want Van Allen Lubin? Do you want Jalen Washington? With the understanding that if they come back, that's one slot you can't fill with something new and flashy out of the portal or out of high school. Caleb Wilson's on the way, top recruit. Trimble, I think, is one you do want back for a few reasons. One, he's willing to come off the bench, as we've seen. He's willing to do the dirty work defensively, and he'll be a senior. And I just think seniors are important. Guys who have the urgency of, my eligibility is going to be up at the end of the year, you can't manufacture that urgency, right? When everybody's goofing around in preseason, it's the ones whose eligibility is winding down that lock everybody in. So I do think you want Trimble back, and I think he will be. I think he's somebody that'll be embraced as a lifelong UNC guy, right?
So you're dropping.
So I forget how you worded it. You said he will be back? or
we'll
he'll
enter
be
the
gone.
transfer portal.
Then enter the transfer portal is different because he might enter the portal and come back. He's done that before. No, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to say he stays, he's committed, and he tries to be a building block for them moving forward.
Fair enough. Staying with college basketball, going back to a conversation we had earlier in the show, Copper Drop, Cinderella teams in the NCAA tournament are becoming more extinct in this new era of college basketball.
They darn sure are becoming more extinct. I don't know if you can be more extinct. Is that like pregnant? You can't be more pregnant?
Or becoming extinct
I don't
this
think
new
they're
era of college basketball.
I don't think they're going away forever. I think they'll be significantly less often, right? There's still going to be the magical teams that put it. What you're not going to see. This is what's going extinct. So I'm dropping that they're going extinct. Here's what's going extinct though. I think it's Butler, Wichita State, VCU. The teams that go on a magical run and then get the band back together the next year, right? Because what was it? Wichita State went to, I think, either Wichita State or VCU is one of the underdogs that wears black and gold, made it to like back-to-back Final Fours. And it was, or back-to-back Elite Eights. And it was because most of the players stuck around, right? And I'm remembering Joey Rodriguez and Cleanthony Early, and I'm remembering for Wichita State, Ron Baker and Fred Van Vliet and these guys. They're not going back to Wichita. You're not – like Gordon Hayward isn't going back to Butler to do it again the next year. Gordon Hayward and that level of player might drag a Cinderella to a Final Four. The next year they're going to be at Kentucky making $3 million if they're still in college basketball at all. The days where you get like the multiple runs of Cinderellas, that's going extinct. But I still think you can have the magic for a year. It's just less likely.
Staying on the NCAA tournament, let's actually look ahead to the first Sweet 16 game this upcoming Thursday night, Duke versus Arizona. Tim, Copper Drop, Caleb Love will have his best game of his career against Duke on Thursday night.
I think I got to drop this. I think I have to. By the way, that's not like insulting Caleb Love. He's done some very, very good things against Duke. Matter of fact, I have some stats here, and shout out to Brendan Marks of The Athletic. He got all these stats together, tweeted them out, so I get to use them on air without having to do any of the math.
Shout out Brendan.
In the 5 wins, so basically to this point, Caleb Love has played Duke 9 times.
That's crazy when you say that out loud.
It is, and he's got one more coming, obviously. So in the 5 years he'll have played in college sports, UNC and Arizona, by the time it's all said and done, he'll have played Duke 10 times. As of right now, he's 5-4. He has 5 wins, 4 losses. In the 5 wins, he has averaged 20.8 points, 4.6 assists, 3.4 rebounds, and shot 44% from the field overall and 36.4% from 3. And this might be the craziest one. 96.3% from the free throw line. That's in the 5 wins. In the 4 losses, he's averaged 9.8 points, so less than half of what he averages in the wins. 3.8 assists, almost a full assist less. 3.3 rebounds, nearly the same. He's shot 28% from the field, which is atrocious. 14.8% from 3, which is horrendous. And 58.3% from the free throw line, which is awful. So using that logic, if I think Arizona's going to win, then he's going to have a great game. If I think Duke is going to win, then I think he's going to have a horrible game. I don't know if that's the proper order, logic to come with that. But if we go with that, I've picked Duke to be my national champion since before the season. I think Duke's going to win, and that means Caleb Love's going to have a tough game.
I mean, I hate to say it, when it comes to Caleb Love's college basketball career, that's sort of the basis. It's either he's hot or he's really cold.
We could also just
and then he's hitting a buzzer beater shot out of nowhere to win a game for Arizona.
We could also just look at it like this. His first 5 games against Duke, he went 4-1. That's his freshman and sophomore year at UNC. His junior year at UNC, 0-2. Then he did play once his senior year against Duke. That was Arizona. He did win that. So basically what I'm saying is, I don't know why I'm going through year by year. He started 4-1, and then since then he's 1-3. So the wins came early in his career. If that trend continues, probably more likely to be a loss.
Last one before we get into our
There
first.
You go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, that was just me doing way too much naming numbers for everybody to understand.
I appreciated the breakdown as a stats guy. Let's go.
4.3% of 9% equals being 42 wars with the analytics of the devoid of defensive metrics. Everybody catch that?
Last one, and it ties into our.
Ooh, actually, go ahead and slam that breaking news for us real quick.
Oh, we got some breaking news.
Travis Branham. This is actually very appropriate for what we were talking about a second ago. Travis Branham of 247 Sports, national basketball analyst, is reporting that per his source, Elliot Cadeau of UNC has entered the transfer portal.
There you go. You and I were just talking about this in the bullpen prior to the show. Like, Elliot Cadeau is one of those main players in conversation as far as what do you do with him next year?
What do you do with him? I'm going to be honest. I think I like Cadeau. Don't get me. I think he's a good player. I think he's a little undersized. I'm wondering where his shot went because I watched some high school highlights. He can shoot. He is more explosive as a scorer than we've seen from UNC, where he's kind of been relegated to a setup guy. I think a change of scenery is best for all involved. I think he'll have suitors out the wazoo. I think he will have Big Ten and SEC teams all about bringing him onto their campus. And I think he'll make a bunch of money. And I think he might flourish there. It's just for whatever reason, team and player didn't unlock the top versions of each other in Chapel Hill. I think he'll leave on good terms, and they both can flourish in other ways. I just think sometimes you got to be honest. You got to look around and go, not working. Let's see if this can work somewhere else. Former 5-star recruit Elliot Cadeau, according to 247 Sports sources, has entered the transfer portal. We'll talk about that more later on because right now it's time for first goal scorer predictions. There it is. Right now we'll open up the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326 for your predictions for Canes' first goal scorers. Go ahead and give us a call, 919-860-5326. Be ready to tell us who's going to score the first goal for the Canes tonight against Nashville and in what period that goal will be scored. If you get both of those pieces of information correct, you will win the ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carries-McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. That's apexracinglab.com. And for all of you out there, by the way, 919-860-5326. I'll say that again for you, 919-860-5326. Lines are filling up, but you can still try to get in. Graham's fielding the calls. If you don't get through on the phone lines, but you are somebody that wants the ability to say, I told you so, feel free to head to our YouTube. We have a live stream, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, that runs during every show. What's going on, everybody out there? It goes through every show. And if you go into the comments, you can just comment a player and a period, right? You can say Aho in the first. If this were 2006, you'd probably say Eric Stahl in the first. Basically, we just need a player and a period to lock you into a prediction. And then if you get it right in the comments, we'll give you bragging rights. If you get it right and you're one of the official contestants on air, we'll give you the prize. That's how you get the ultimate sim racing experience from Apex Racing Lab. And by the time we're done here, Graham and I will also have made our first goal scorer predictions. Been cold recently. I was on a hot streak there early part of this year, but hopefully we get back going. Taylor in Holly Springs is up next as the phone lines are filled up. Taylor, thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Yeah, absolutely. Since we're playing the Predators, hoping it'll be an easy game, I think it's going to be Jarvis in the first.
Interesting. If it's an easy game, why would that be Jarvis, the one that takes advantage of it?
Because Jarvis he plays well all the time, but I feel like against an easier team, anyone could really score, and I think he's got a lot of, ice time. I think he's just going to end up with it.
Right.
It could be like Hall or Jankowski, however you say his name, but I'm thinking it's Jarvis just because of the ice time.
All right, there you go, Taylor. Appreciate it. Stay on the line. Graham may have some info that he needs to grab from you. Brian, also in Holly Springs. You are up next. Brian, thanks for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
All right, give me Jankowski, the new guy. First period, he's on a heater. He's hot.
And against his former team, so he might be a little more aggressive. I'm with you.
There you go, yeah.
I'm with you on that, Brian. Thanks for calling in. Stay on the line. Graham may have some info we need to grab from you. And our final official contestant, Roy in Franklinton. Roy, thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes tonight against Nashville, and in what period?
I'm going with the captain, Stahl, in the first period. I'm even going to say on the power play.
On the power play. I like it. If he's out there making it happen, we'll definitely tell you to buy a lotto ticket if it hits. Appreciate it, Roy. And if the captain scores in the first, we'll go ahead and give it to you. There's the official contestants. Taylor went with Jarvis in the first. Brian went with Janky in the first. And Roy took the captain, Jordan Stahl, in the first. All of the other details, power play, and that's just for fun, just to be clear. If you did not get in, if you did not make it through on the call-in line, again, you can always comment on our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Check out the live stream in the comments there. You just need to give a player and a period, but I challenge you to be more specific than that, right? Don't just say Stankoven in the first. Say Stankoven on the left side with an assist from Stahl, and it's a one-timer, right? Like give us as many details as you can because I want to see how much you really know hockey. That's what I'm getting at. By the way, we do this every single game day. If there is a game on a show day at 4:33, we do first goal scorer predictions. So, if you didn't get through today, you still have chances. Still a long season to go. We go all the way through the postseason. Matter of fact, it started in the postseason. All right, so Graham, are you done collecting info yet?
I'm going to go with Jackson Blake. First period is my first goal scorer. I know I have Logan Stankoven.
Trying to cover all your bases?
Trying to cover all my bases, but give me Jackson Blake just because, like we talked about earlier, it feels like that he's been right there and he's been doing all the good stuff for the Carolina Hurricanes recently, just hasn't been rewarded for it. Well, why not tonight against the Preds, a team that's kind of lackluster right now at this point in the season? So give me Jackson Blake, first goal scorer, first period.
I'm going to talk about this later on, but do you know who is the most happy with the Mikko Rantanen stuff that has become like the joking point of the NHL, almost said NCAA, of the NHL season? The Predators are the most happy that Mikko Rantanen is the butt of most jokes. Why? Because if we weren't talking about Mikko Rantanen, we might be talking about all the money they gave to Stamkos and Shea, Marchessault, all these guys, because they're not very good for having spent all the money in the offseason. Not the best signings, even if you do think some of the individual players are playing all right. It's a lot of money to spend to be near the bottom of the Western Conference, if you feel me. My first goal scorer prediction is Mark Jankowski in the first. I'm going with, who was it, Brian, that locked that one in. I'm enjoying it while I can. Right, maybe Jankowski's now a point-per-game player, 6 goals in 7 games. Maybe he's just a sniper that doesn't need many shots on goal to get a whole bunch of goals. Maybe it's the new Jankowski, or maybe he's just on a heater to start his time with the Canes. Regardless, I'm enjoying it while I can. I hope it lasts forever, and I hope he gets one early against his former team just for the bragging rights against the Preds that traded him away for almost nothing.
Are we even hoping that Brady Shea scores tonight? Like, unless it's a 3-goal lead.
No
Brady Shea goal whatsoever.
No, you haven't been on the show when I've had this opportunity. I think the person that hates tribute videos the most of anyone in sports.
This is you.
I hate them. He is coming into your arena to try to beat you.
I've seen your
why do you applaud him and get happy? Like, no, he is actively trying to prevent you from achieving your goals. That's what he's doing tonight. If you want to wait until Brady Shea retires and then be like, hey, thanks for the good years, cool, because then he's not actively trying to end, like, his season and your season. Only one of you can possibly, and likely neither of you, but only one of you can possibly end holding the cup. Them, definitely not. But he's trying to stop you from doing it. He's going to be in the Lenovo Center trying to make sure the Canes don't win. Why would you applaud that guy? And by the way, you may be like, it's just sports. He's actually someone No, it is just sports. You're supposed to boo the other team. Do you know what's also upsetting me? And this is not like, it doesn't actually upset me on like a real level, but from a sports, like just understanding perspective, I'm seeing some UNC fans that are rooting for Caleb Love, right? They're saying like, because Caleb Love and Arizona are playing against Duke.
He's our last hope to stop Duke. Yeah.
And Duke fans are going like, how sad is this? Oh, look at this. Oh, have you no shame? What'd you want, UNC to root for you? You're rivals. Of course they're rooting for the other team. And if they have some connection to the other guy, of course they're going to root for him. It's a rivalry. They're the other team. Brady Shea, do you want him to score a goal? No, because that means Pyotr Kochetkov let up a goal. And Pyotr Kochetkov needs a bounce-back game from giving up a whole bunch of them on Saturday.
Fair enough.
Brady Shea got, $49 million from Nashville. I wish he got $100 million from Nashville. Not because I'm like, oh, he did so much good, I want to see him get his money. Because then Nashville would be worse. Because they'd have less money to spend on the rest of their team. It's a competitive sport. If you're a Canes fan, you don't want the Predators to do anything good. Not tonight. If they're playing against a team you're competing with, then you can root for them, right? If they go match up against the Devils, yeah, go nuts. They're going matched up against the Panthers. Yeah, tell them to be physical. They're matched up against the Canes. You don't want them to do anything good. And I know I sound like real angry. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's one of the more confusing things in sports. Hey, remember when that guy used to play for us? Let's play his highlights and celebrate him while he tries to end our game. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Elliot Cadeau reportedly in the transfer portal out of UNC. The portal opened yesterday. Who would you want back for UNC as they try to fix all the problems that popped up this past year? Stick around.
It's that time of year, folks, and time is running out. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Time is running out to go to caniacsbike.com to enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they've all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a motorcycle again. Fourth year they're giving a motorcycle away, but this is the first time it is a custom-built motorcycle. You have to go to caniacsbike.com. You have till April 6th to sign up and enter to win. That's just right around the corner, folks. It's less than 2 weeks away. Go to caniacsbike.com. Custom-built motorcycle, custom-painted with Canes colors, logos, white wall tires. It's gorgeous. I've seen the bike in person. I wish I can win it. I can't. You can. Go to caniacsbike.com. Again, April 6th, the deadline to enter. Bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the season. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
NC State basketball got their guy, Will Wade. He was number 1A on their wish list. He's coming off a win with McNeese State in the NCAA tournament, and all of that is nice, the sizzle, the buzz, it's great. But so much of it is still going to come down to the same thing. Does he have the NIL money to get the players on campus?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why? It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. With big bank reliability and small bank resolve, you get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
Your Give UNC gift today will make a difference at UNC Chapel Hill for years to come. Join the community of Tar Heels making an impact in Carolina. What are you waiting for? Give today at giveunc.unc.edu.
Spring has sprung, and so have the deals at Kohl's Spring Savings Event. I just got a comfy tee for just $7.99, a cute swimsuit for $19.99, 40% off patio furniture from my backyard, and so much more. So don't wait. These deals are too good to miss. Hurry over to Kohl's to save big on warm weather essentials during their Spring Savings Event today. Select styles. Offers end March 30th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers, and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Davis drives left of the lane, hangs in the air, has a shot blocked, but Davis gets it back. Out to Trimble. He'll try another triple. Count it!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. One of the reasons it is becoming an absolute necessity that you have a general manager in college basketball, which, by the way, we're seeing every program kind of finally get in tune with. Duke's had one for a while. UNC hired their first general manager mid-season. NC State and Will Wade, who was introduced as their head coach earlier today at a press conference, reportedly have a general manager in place as well for the first time in their program's history. One of the reasons you need a general manager is you need to already know who you want back for next season immediately when your current season ends. Even in the NFL or NBA or professional sports leagues, free agency doesn't open up before the season ends. But in college basketball and college football, it does. The portal opens before the playoffs end. The portal opened on Monday. Teams are still playing. Justin Pippen, Scottie Pippen's son who plays for Michigan, he's in the portal. You want to know what's crazy about that? Michigan's in the Sweet 16. If that's how the world is going to be run in college sports, your general manager has to be constantly evaluating your roster, even while your coaching staff is game planning and trying to do what's best for the team with the roster as it stands now. UNC finished their season, on Friday? And the portal opened up on Monday, and your starting point guard's in the portal on Tuesday. Which means you didn't have time to go, well, we're going to watch some tape and decide how much NIL money we want to offer Elliot Cadeau. Because Elliot Cadeau is already in the portal. You couldn't take 3 days to put together a budget and a cap and decide where you're going to spend your money. That had to already be decided. Or else you just missed out on the opportunity, right? It doesn't help you if Elliot Cadeau hits the portal today, commits to, say, I'm going to pick a random team.
St. John's.
St. John's next, Monday. He commits to St. John's. And then on Thursday of that week, UNC goes, I agree. We should make a $1 million offer to Elliot Cadeau. So, well, he committed to St. John. We don't we can't make him an offer anymore. He's theirs now, right? You have to have those decisions made already. So hopefully, Hubert Davis, the front office, and everybody for UNC, as they made their run through the end of the regular season, as they made their run through the ACC tournament, and as they prepared for the NCAA tournament, we're already looking around and going, do we want Elliot Cadeau back? Do we want Seth Trimble back? Do we want Van Allen Lubin back? Do we want Jalen Washington back? Do we want Cade Tyson back? Obviously, you don't have to make those decisions with guys like R.J. Davis and Jalen Withers. Their eligibility is what ended. But do you want them back becomes a real conversation.
So one of the interesting things with Elliot Cadeau entering the transfer portal is that he enters it with a no contract clause, which tells me that he has something, he has a plan in mind already. And the reason why I said St. John's as the example team is because there have been sources that are already linking to him to St. John's, which kind of makes sense. He's from that area. He's from that area anyways, and it'd be pretty ironic that North Carolina would lose Simon Wolcher because of Elliott's reclassification, and then they would end up teammates.
There's that. By the way, the no contact designation when you go into the portal, if you can select whether you're like open to suitors, right? If you go into the portal and you know where you're going to go next, something like, an assistant coach took a head coaching job somewhere else and you only want to play for them, you can prevent your inbox being flooded with a billion coaches going, hey, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have a conversation with you. You can put no contact clause. So if he has no contact, usually that means he knows where he's going to go. It's not unusual. For UNC, though, all right, Cadeau's gone. By the way, I said this before the break. I think it's best for all parties. I think Elliot Cadeau is a really good point guard. I think he's been good for UNC at times, been really good at times. For whatever reason, his top level wasn't reached in Chapel Hill. I don't know why. He has more potential than he's shown in Chapel Hill. Maybe he'll reach it somewhere else, and that gives UNC another roster spot to go do something with. Here's the way I'm looking at it. I want Drake Powell back. I think he is a talent that is developing. I want Van Allen Lubin back, and I probably want Seth Trimble back. I'm not sure there's too many others, if any others, that I would be spending a lot of money, a lot of resources on bringing back. And that's not disrespect. If you go back and listen to how I feel about Ian Jackson, I thought he showed how talented he was this year. But at the end of the year, the last month or so, his minutes went so far down. His usage went so far down that it's obvious the coaching staff and he were not aligning. And if that's happening, he can go be successful elsewhere. He's a former top 10 recruit in the country. He had a streak where he scored 20 or more in 6 straight games for UNC. He'll have his options. But it's like UNC has to do something very different. Has to. And the only way to do that is to change up the players that you have. If you're keeping your coach, think of Duke last year. Duke went to the ACC tournament, won and done, right? Showed up, lost to UNC, went home. That was all on Thursday. Then they went to the NCAA tournament, made it to the Elite Eight, didn't get to the Final Four, didn't make it to the championship, didn't win the championship, which is always Duke's goal. What did they do? They didn't go, well, we kind of like some of these guys. No, Mark Mitchell playing somewhere else. Sean Stewart playing somewhere else. Jeremy Roach playing somewhere else. TJ Power playing somewhere else. Right? They let a lot of guys leave to go pro or to the portal. Replaced them with a whole bunch of new guys. They kept Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster. Now, I believe they're the best team in the country. UNC, I know they don't want to, we don't mimic Duke. You can follow that timeline. Pick the 2 or 3 guys that you want to be the culture setters for your program. So when the new guys show up, those are the ones saying, hey, this is how we condition. This is how we operate. This is how we work on our game. And everything else is about assembling the right team. Caleb Wilson's coming in, big-time recruit. What does he need around him? Does he need shooters? Go get shooters. Isaac McNeely from Virginia's in the portal. Do you need size? All right, there's Chauncey Wiggins out of Clemson in the portal. Like, do you need post scoring? Tay Davis, or wing scoring? Tay Davis out of Notre Dame's in the portal. This is just off the top of my head. Find the right guys. And help the ones, if you're not excited to bring someone back, help them find somewhere to go. I think that's the honorable thing to do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the honorable thing to do, I have been asked to be honorable in how we pick the winners of our watch bracket that I've partnered with Bailey's Fine Jewelry to help execute. They've given me 16 watch models that can all be bought, different brands, different models, at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, which you can find in the Village District of Raleigh with their Fox and Bailey watch shop, multiple locations across the triangle, Bailey's Fine Jewelry. They've set up the bracket, and I get to choose who wins each matchup, which I was very excited to do because I am a watch nerd. But then I saw the matchups, and I went, this is not fair at all. We have the Rolex Daytona today matched up against the Blancpain Villaret. And this is, first of all, Blancpains are bananas exciting. And the funny part about saying they're exciting is they're known for their tradition, right? They were innovative decades and decades, centuries ago. And because of that, they have these iconic looks. They have these iconic movements and technology. But they're also exciting because they were like brand new. They're old. It's like a oxymoron. They're traditionally modern. And then the Rolex Daytona. There's no other way to say this. The Rolex Daytona. Paul Newman is associated with them. John Mayer, some of the biggest watch celebrities of all time, have their own kind of nicknamed version of the Daytona. And for that reason, I think we have to go Rolex Daytona. No disrespect to the Blancpain, but you ran into a real heavyweight there in the first round. Rolex Daytona advances. So many different colorways, so many different dial colors, bezels. It's the Rolex Daytona. If you're a watch fan, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're a watch fan, you need to get to Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District in Raleigh. Check out their Fox and Bailey watch shop, which has the largest collection of pre-owned and vintage Rolexes in the entire state of North Carolina. And they actually have some Daytonas there. Saw them on social media the other day. Might have to go check them out myself. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting five coming up next, including audio from today's Will Wade introductory press conference for NC State. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of a Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Don't miss Good American Family.
We have a little girl here for adoption. She has dwarfism.
Starring Ellen Pompeo and Mark Duplass.
Something is off. She's just a little girl. You think she's faking? She has adult teeth. There are signs of puberty.
Inspired by the shocking stories that tore a family apart.
I don't know what's going on. How old are you? You should get a lawyer. You have no idea how those people hurt this girl.
The Hulu original series, Good American Family. New episodes Wednesdays, streaming on Hulu.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We have the chance for showers at least through about midnight, clearing overnight and chilly once again with a low of 43. A spectacular Wednesday morning, sunshine, partly cloudy in the afternoon, breezy and cooler, the high at 65.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 4 points at 42,587. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the starting five, and I think these updates will be coming fast and furious over the next however many days. Before the commercial, we broke that Elliot Cadeau is in the transfer portal for UNC. Jalen Washington, UNC big man, has joined him in the transfer portal. 247 Sports reporting, again, Travis Branham. Matter of fact, let's just make some of this portal news maybe number 5. Can we make that happen, Graham? We'll swap.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We'll just swap number 5 and number 3, Graham, as we program the show live on air. The transfer portal is going to be brutal. And Elliot Cadeau, Jalen Washington, both going into the portal. I think that is part of what, like, unfortunately, after a season like UNC just had, change is required. You can't roll out the same roster and just say, all right, we're building on it, right? You weren't good enough in the regular season, weren't good enough in the non-conference schedule or in the conference schedule, weren't good enough in the ACC tournament, weren't good enough in the NCAA tournament. Some would say you didn't even belong in the NCAA tournament. I would disagree, but hey. So there has to be something that the coaches can point to and say, we're fixing it. That means roster changeover, right? So if Washington is in the portal and Cadeau's in the portal, and I would assume more names will pop up in the portal, that gives them an opportunity to go find other players and say, all right, this player is going to solve the problem. This player is going to be better. The way we've assembled it, this roster, will show better results, right? I'm not going to say it's busy just to be busy, but you can't just roll the same roster out there. Today does have a hint of, and I think this next week will, Hard Knocks, the behind the scenes preseason NFL show on HBO. There's always one super dramatic episode where it's cut down day, right? And players they're walking around and they're hoping not to get the tap on the shoulder, hey, coach wants to see you bring your playbook. Now, this isn't the exact same because players can just choose to leave and go play somewhere else. But, like, if you're a UNC fan, you've invested in Jalen Washington. You've invested in Elliot Cadeau. Just like the part of the genius of Hard Knocks on HBO is they make you feel invested in these, like, end-of-the-roster guys who are trying their hardest to make an NFL roster. So if they leave, even if it's on their own autonomy, right? Even if Cadeau decided to leave, even if he's chasing the bag, if you will, or he wants a change of scenery, hearing him go into the portal is still kind of like, oh, darn, right? Didn't work out. Jalen Washington going into the portal. Jalen Washington at times had a huge role this year for UNC. By the end of the season, most of the bigs minutes were going to Withers and Van Allen Lubin. Washington kind of makes sense to leave. That doesn't mean you're like, yes. You're kind of still like, man, didn't work out. I thought he was going to be XYZ, right? I thought he was going to develop into a pro prospect. I thought he was going to, be the guy that ran the two-man game with Cadeau for the next handful of years, and it didn't happen. So it's not mourning, it's not grieving, it's just kind of bummed when this kind of stuff happens. And expect more of it. The portal giveth, and the portal taketh away. And the portal will continue takething awaying for a while. And then guess what we get to do? We get to speculate on where they're going to go. I already saw somebody on Twitter, I'm not naming names, say Cadeau and Will Wade would make sense as a connection. I don't anticipate Tar Heels, even if you're like upset with how things went. You don't jump to that. You don't jump to the rival. Dontrez Styles at least did his year in Georgetown in between going from UNC to NC State. Although I did sit down and watch at the ACC tournament, I did sit and watch Cal play, and Cal had a lights-out scorer by the name of Andrei Stojakovic. He was Peja Stojakovic's son. He was on the all-tournament team, despite the fact that I don't even think they made the quarterfinals. He had 37 in a game. I watched him score like 13 of the first 16 for Cal. Guess where he played last year? Stanford. So you can go from one side of the rival to the other. Maybe Will Wade will shop in that aisle. If he really wants to ratchet things up and start some bitter fights and rivalries in the triangle, he'll get somebody that wears Carolina blue to wear red next year.
No, he already said that he's not afraid to step on opposing teams' toes in terms of if a player enters the transfer portal, it's open season for him in terms of roster management. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but never say never, especially when Will Wade's involved.
Can you imagine Cadeau getting that call? I don't recognize this number. Hey, it's Coach Wade. Oof. Be wildly interesting. Like that's like the Hard Knocks documentary, right? Like, this guy didn't make the team. It would be as if like the Bears get to call up the players that were cut by the Packers or the players that like aren't in the starting lineup and just take them. Be like, hey, come here. I don't know. It'd be wild. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
They've done it with defense. The Tar Heels only 32% from the field here in the second half and 4-15 from 3. Cooper on the left has a drive. Good night! A two-hand stuff to take the lead to 15.
I just want to look ahead a bit here. That was a highlight from Duke against UNC a handful of days ago. I want to take a look ahead to Duke versus Arizona on Thursday, right? It is the Sweet 16. Duke is the 1 seed. They're going to be the favorite. Arizona is a team you don't want to take lightly, right? You're to the point in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Baylor was this as well, but Arizona's better than Baylor this year. You're to the point now where like anyone can beat you. So you got to show up. You got to play your A game. There's no more gimmies. In modern college basketball, I think Duke is learning this, and they may have already learned it. With the portal, with how players in high school operate, with Team USAs, with these behemoth high school programs, with AAU, every game comes with history. Like here's the way to put it. You know how today for the Canes, it's a very history-filled game against the Predators. Mark Jankowski, right, was with the Preds. The Brady Shea, who's longtime Cane, beloved Cane, is playing with Nashville. It has a different storyline to it. That's every game in college now.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, Duke played against Baylor. The questions going into the game, hey, Coach Shire, you're playing against Caleb Love. He was a 4-year player for you at Duke. You were his assistant coach, then his head coach. What's it going to be like playing against him? Hey, Cooper Flagg, you're playing against Rob Wright, the point guard for Baylor. You two played your last year of high school together at Montverde and won a high school national championship. What's that going to be like? That was the Baylor game. All right, you beat Baylor. Now you're going to play Arizona. Coach Shire, you're playing against Caleb Love. Caleb Love, hit the shot that beat you, one of the shots, but the sealer, in the Final Four when it was Coach K's last game, and he's played against you 9 times. What's that history going to be like? There's just some form of history in every game. Maryland's still playing. They've got one of Cooper Flagg's high school teammates. Or even this. Who eliminated UNC? Ole Miss, right? In the locker room for Ole Miss after beating UNC, what was it? Brakefield, throwing up the Bull City hand gesture because his freshman year was spent where?
At Duke.
At Duke. So he's like, that was him for his buddies 5 years ago because he's a 5th-year senior and his freshman year was at Duke. At Ole Miss, he scored whatever it was, like 12 points and helped eliminate UNC. Every game has history.
The stories just write themselves.
So going into this Arizona game, there's going to be so much talk for Duke and for Arizona about your history with Caleb Love. And I think part of it is, yeah, every game has something like that. You have to be able to use it as motivation, compartmentalize, like however you get through it, you just have to get through it, right? However you deal with it, you just have to deal with it because it's going to happen a lot. It's going to happen a ton. John Shire. Oh, we have some audio here. John Shire, this is just because we have it here, and I like to use the audio when Graham works hard to gather it for us. John Shire talks about the personalities of the team on Duke fitting together so well, which they'll need against the Wildcats.
Guys in the transfer portal that understood it wasn't going to be about them scoring all the points or shooting all the shots, but it was about the fit, and with the fit, they could be really successful, as well. And so Malik, Mason, Sion, they're so unselfish. They're mature. I think, having 6 freshmen is great to see. Mason and Sion, every day they have a routine they do. They're pros. So to see them with how they operate, how they go about their business, I think is important for the young guys. And then, Malik is just the ultimate team guy. And obviously, we want him to play, but even still, he's cheering everybody on. And so I think that's a big thing. Just the understanding that it's not about shots and points, and it's about the fit and being part of a winning team.
You want to hear something interesting? All the Sweet 16, all 16 teams, there are 9 total freshmen in starting lineups for the Sweet 16, all of the teams combined. 9. 3 of them are for Duke. I think part of the reason those freshmen are so good is because of the support they get from the veterans around them. That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
Will Wade will have success at NC State. And the reason he'll have success at NC State is because of the style of play, and he does not care. He's got Duke over here, he's got Carolina over here, and he don't give a blank.
How about that, Seth Greenberg? If Will Wade really doesn't give a bleep, he'll call up Elliot Cadeau and say, hey,
there you go.
We need a point guard over here. You're a former 5-star. You've averaged around 10 points in the ACC already, over 6 assists. Why don't you make your way over here? Gosh, that would be just unbelievable theater. Will Wade, the new head coach of NC State, was introduced today at a press conference in Reynolds Coliseum. And one of the things he wanted to emphasize, and you'll actually listen to this clip. There was like an introductory statement from him where he addressed, I've made mistakes and I've learned, and right, you're getting the person that coached LSU with the same competitive fire and the same passion, but without the arrogance that led to getting me in trouble, right? It was very measured. About halfway through this clip we're going to play you, he starts talking about a reckoning, right? Reckoning for the ACC and a reckoning for college basketball. From that point forward, I think it was the Will Wade you're going to get. He had to have the serious beginning. Then he ramped it up, and it was like he was cutting promos as a wrestler. He was making sure to build a little emphasis. So listen for that little ramp up in the middle of this one. Will Wade talking about it not being a rebuild as he takes over NC State.
I just couldn't be more excited. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. This is the first time in a while, I think, the fans, the administration, and the program, we're all on one accord. And everybody's on the same accord. Everybody's singing from the same sheet of music. And when that happens at NC State, it's going to be a reckoning for the ACC, and it's going to be a reckoning for college basketball. And it's coming. And it's coming soon. And I want to be very clear. This is not a rebuild. We're going to be in the top part of the ACC next year, and we're going to the NCAA tournament. This is not something that's going to take a whole lot of time. All right? This is. Make sure you got that on camera. This is going to be done. This is going to be done the right way, and this is going to be done quickly. We are here to win.
I mean, listen here, brother. There's going to be a reckoning in college basketball and the ACC, and theirs is not a rebuild, brother. So you and me at the Lenovo Center this Winter. Like
even better, to quote John Cena, who's on his farewell tour right now, Duke, Carolina, your time is up. My time is now.
It's there. It's there. And part of the reason why Will Wade was, I believe, option 1A for NC State was because he has a rallying personality. It's been called a billion different things throughout history, right? Poise,
chip on the shoulder,
magnetism, je ne sais quoi. We all know those people, right? They walk into a wedding and everybody just kind of stops and wants to look at them dance. They walk into a locker room and everybody just wants to hear their story, right? They just have some magnetism, and there might not be anything extraordinary about them, but you just know that if you go out to dinner with your buddies, it's a bachelor party, there's 15 of you. You sit down at a long table at the restaurant, and there's the guy with the magnetism is sitting at the other end. You're like, darn it, that side's going to be having all the fun.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be laughing so hard. We're going to be over here eating chicken wings.
He stands up to give his speech. Everybody leans in.
Exactly. For whatever reason, Will Wade has some of that. For whatever reason, he has some of that. And that's part of the reason why I think it's a good hire for NC State. Will Wade, on how he plans on competing with the powerhouses in the ACC, this is what he had to say.
The ACC is one of the premier basketball conferences in the country, and we've got to hold up our end of the bargain. I mean, NC State, in my opinion, is one of the major brands in this league, and for ACC basketball to be good, NC State basketball needs to be good, and that's what we're going to do. And I think the better we are, the better the league will be. And like I said, I know we've got some bully neighbors and that sort of thing, but we're not worried about them. If we worry about ourselves, all that other stuff will take care of itself. And we're focused on ourselves, and we want them to turn around and be chasing us. And so that's the focus. If we do what we're supposed to do, that's what's going to happen.
We want them to turn around and be chasing us. I love those turns of phrase, right? You're joining a conference and you're joining a city where you have a number one team in the country, kind of, right across the triangle. I want them to be chasing us. I just think he was cutting promos.
I want someone to take this title off me, brother.
Yeah, that's Are you afraid of the storm coming this way? The storm should be afraid of me.
If you want some, come get some.
And the best part about it is, we can't judge it till the games start, right? He can sell whatever he wants to sell. The best part of sports, I say it all the time, there are two things that make sports so awesome to me. One, completely unpredictable. You can't script it. Two, it's fair for everybody, right? I don't care if you're tall or short. When you're playing basketball, if you put the ball through the hoop more times than your opponent, you win. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care if you're from the East Coast to the West Coast. If you put the ball through the hoop more times than your opponent, you win. At a certain point, talk is cheap. You're going to have to go out on the court, and you're going to have to prove it. He says he's going to be in the top part of the ACC. He says he's going to be in the NCAA tournament with the Wolfpack this season, this upcoming year, his first season in Raleigh. He can say it all he wants till next fall. Once games start, you got to put it on the court. It's the best part of sports. What number are we on? I don't even know. That was number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us. Here's James. Count it. And let's see if that gets her going. A walking bucket is Isaiah James.
Isaiah James was a walking bucket. Speaking of teams that have to settle it on the court, all 3 women's basketball programs from the ACC and the Triangle still playing in the ACC tournament. That's pretty darn cool. They're at Sweet 16, all 3. You know the history. State rolled Michigan State to get in. Isaiah James made 6 threes. Good on you. Then we get Duke Carolina. This week, there's a Duke Carolina Sweet 16 game. It's going to be played in, I think, Birmingham. Let's petition to just get it played at, the Lenovo Center or something. I'm not in either team's home arena, but let's get it played in the area just for atmosphere.
Even better, to really fit the nostalgic of this, Duke Carolina, women's, men's basketball, I don't care, played at Greensboro Coliseum.
I'm with it. It's a great idea. I'm with it. The the epicenter of college basketball, I believe, will always be right here in the Triangle. The men didn't like Duke held up their part of it. The men didn't exactly as a triumvirate hold up their part of the bargain this year. The women have gone above and beyond. Credit to was Usby from UNC had a big game. Jackson from Duke had a big game. These are all like 20-point scorers in round of 32 victories for their team, 20 or more. Isaiah James for NC State, like that's what you're looking for. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Credit to them. We'll obviously be monitoring it later in the week when the Sweet 16 kicks off. Number 2, let's get to number 1. The Canes play tonight versus Nashville. There is, first of all, we're going to talk about this later on in the show, meaning the game. So I'm going to focus in on one element here in the starting 5. Pyotr Kochetkov. Pyotr Kochetkov is in net. I believe he needs a bounce-back game from the debacle in L.A. on Saturday. Gave up a whole bunch of goals. It was, goalies have those games every now and then, and it's just kind of a bummer that it was the front half of a back-to-back. So they couldn't pull him and put in Freddie to stabilize it because Freddie obviously had to be fresh for the Anaheim game the next day. So he just kind of had to wear it. He just kind of had to eat 7 goals from the Kings. Wake up, I always describe it as you wake up, you're not sure why, but you put on your favorite shirt before you brush your teeth. And then as you're brushing your teeth, the toothpaste falls all down the front. And you're like, that doesn't even make any sense. You walk outside, you pour your cereal, you realize there's no milk. You get in the car, you forget that you driving home yesterday left the E-light on. And you get it's just one of those. It was one of those days for Pyotr. Now he gets to play at home against one of the worst teams in the Western Conference in Nashville. A bounce-back game would be nice. And not only for hey, you want to keep you won 9 of your last 10 games, you want to get back, you want to win at home, you want to ignite the crowd, but also the I don't even know what to call this. The balance. I'm thinking of an analogy like if you have to maintain the chlorine level in the pool where it's so if you put in a little too much, it's now it's too much, a little too less, you got to test it, you got to do the balance of their goalie rotation is so finite. Pyotr had one bad. They won 8 straight games, right? Pyotr Kochetkov is one of the hottest goaltenders in the entire league. He had a bad game on Saturday. Multiple times I had to answer on social media questions about, do you think Freddie takes over the bulk? Do you think they stop with the rotation? And I'm going no. We learned this last year towards the end of the year. Freddie and Pyotr Kochetkov are better together than they are individually. When they get this little one game, I don't know if it's giving them the ability to unplug, giving them the ability to physically stay fresh. They're better in that rotation. And I just don't want 2-3 bad games in a row for a goalie and suddenly, all right, now it's a 70-30 split. Suddenly you get to the postseason and you're rolling out the same goaltender every single game because we've seen that. And by the way, I'm a fan of Pyotr Kochetkov. I think he has potential in there. I've been singing his praises since the moment I took over this show. Part of that is because I like his style. I've always been drawn to the athletes that are a little bit, Maverick from Top Gun, a little bit Buzz the Tower, a little bit fearless. So I like his style, but I also acknowledge that if you string together too many bad days, people are going to call for Freddie, and I don't think that's best either. Because Freddie Anderson, durability issues. I think it's important to keep him fresh. He's an older guy. In the regular season, for sure, one game. I wouldn't be opposed to trying that in the postseason as well. Haven't done it yet. I know it's a little bit unorthodox, but, the easy thing to do would just be today, play really well, Pyotr. Get Kochetkov a couple poke checks, right? Do a couple crazy things and have them work out in your favor so then everybody can go back to expecting the rotation to be solid. Huh? How about it? We will have to get some numbers game contestants, but first, before you start dialing, Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. How about this for a question? Have you ever noticed how many companies, mortgage brokers, start advertising no closing cost loans when rates are really low? But when they're higher, they don't? It shouldn't be one or the other. At Miller Lending, they advertise no closing cost loans all the time because They're always the right choice, right? If your current rate that you've locked in for your mortgage is over 7, you could give them a call right now and see if they can save you money free of charge. That's what a no closing cost loan means, right? No money out of your pocket. You just refinance with them. Again, if your rate's over 7, you may have locked it in at the peak. They might be able to save you money free of charge. Get that monthly rate lowered or monthly payment lowered, get a lower rate, lock it in right now. And the best part about it, if rates keep dropping, if they drop next month, if they drop next year, you do it again. There's never any charge. There's never a cost, no matter how high or low rates go. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, and I know people don't like me saying no matter how high they go, but that's why you lock in a mortgage rate. So if it goes up, you're not kicking yourself. The number to call if you have more interest or you have some questions or you want to see if they can get that rate lowered that we talked about if it's over 7, give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's Miller Lending at 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online as well at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. What do we need? We need numbers game contestants. What's our prize for today? It's Thomas Rhett tickets. Country music superstar Thomas Rhett is coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 31st. If you want a pair of tickets, you have to win the numbers game. If you want to win the numbers game, you have to play the numbers game. If you want to play the numbers game, you got to call in now. We need 2 contestants. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game, next.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Proctor, the 3. Proctor fired up.
From the first 4 to the national championship.
A lob to Cooper to punch it down.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
It's been the Tyrese Proctor Show.
The road to San Antonio is driven by WakeMed, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's non-stop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice from more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying... Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today, Ethan in Raleigh and Clay in Willow Springs. They'll be competing for a pair of tickets to see country music superstar Thomas Rhett at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 31st. Graham is our judge for today, for our question to see who goes first. Stepping in, filling in for Dennis, our usual producer. So we'll hit a very Graham question, right? Because Graham's our judge. Ethan and Raleigh, are you there? And are you ready to answer a question to potentially go first? All right.
I'm ready.
The question is, what is the greatest oldies song of all time? And oldies you can decide, right? But just know that if it's something from when I was in college, I'm going to be very, very upset with you.
Nah, so I'm 23, so my oldies, I go back a little bit. I just got to remember what's in my dad's car, but I'm going my old school Steely Dan.
Okay. Steely Dan's, that one's fine. When
Adam Gold would appreciate that answer.
When you said you were 23 and you're old school, I thought you were going to say something from 2009. I was about to be very.
No, I wouldn't do anything like that on the radio. That's stuff.
I appreciate that. Clay,
I've done it plenty of times.
That is true. Clay in Willow Springs is up next, so we'll bring Clay up. Clay, are you there?
I'm here, yep.
All right, Clay. What is the greatest oldies song of all time? Because we have very old music soul Graham as our judge today.
I'm probably going to lose this round. I'm not the best with song names and artists and everything, but let's go with Freebird.
Freebird. All right. Not
bad.
Freebird gets a bad rap, but I do think it's having a moment right now because at the Four Nations Cup, that's what they were playing when Team USA scored. Graham, those are your options. You had Steely Dan and you had Freebird.
If I was in the middle of Tin Roof right now in Glenwood South, I would pick Freebird, Leonard Skinner, but I'm going to have to go with Ethan and Steely Dan.
Right.
So, Ethan, congratulations. Adam Gold's also saluting you right now.
Ethan, you get to go first. Clay, don't worry. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second. Ethan, are you ready to pick a category?
I am.
All right. The categories are NFL players, NFC South in 2024. These players played in the NFC South. NFL players, AFC South in 2024. NBA players, all hyphen team. These are players with a hyphen in their name somewhere, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'm just going to go with the first one, all NFL.
Okay, NFL, we'll go with the NFC South players in 2024. That was the first one. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
1.
Incorrect. Chris Olave, New Orleans Saints.
12.
Correct. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Correct. Drake London, Atlanta Falcons.
5.
What was that?
5.
Correct. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
6.
Correct. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
7.
Correct. That is a perfect score, ladies and gentlemen.
24 seconds.
I missed on Rashad White. I knew that was one of them, man.
Yeah, Rashad White is number one. That is so you were just imagining the Tampa Bay backfield when you threw one out there.
Exactly.
All right, I'll give you that. That one's all right.
24 seconds, time to beat for Ethan. Great job, Ethan.
I will 24 seconds. It can be beaten. I want to make sure you are aware of that. We've had perfect scores get upstaged by better perfect scores. So, just saying. That brings us to the next contestant, Mr. Freebird himself, Clay in Willow Springs. Clay, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that played in the AFC South in 2024, NBA all-hyphen team, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's go AFC South.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need all 5. Do it as quickly as you can. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans.
7.
Correct. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis Colts.
14.
Incorrect. Travis Etienne Jr., Jacksonville Jaguars.
1.
Correct. Tank Dell, Houston Texans.
3.
Correct. Tony Pollard, Tennessee Titans.
20.
Correct. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis Colts.
11.
Correct.
20.5.
20.5?
20 seconds for Clay.
So Clay won.
Clay won. Clay is our victor.
You know what? That is unbelievable. I also feel bad for Ethan. The double perfect score, we went 10 for 10. Both of you should take a bow. Congratulations, Clay.
Oh, thanks.
Go ahead and stay on the line. Also, keep bringing Ethan up one more time. I just want to congratulate him, even though he doesn't get the tickets. Ethan, great job.
Thanks, man. I really blew it on Bucky Irvin. I had him on fantasy football too, and I blew it on that. I can't believe it.
That's you'll never forget it again. It'll be 30 years from now. You'll be like Bucky Irving, number 7. Appreciate you for playing, but you can try again now. Perfect score. Take down both their information, Graham. We might need to. I'm not sure. Just grab both of you. Stay on the line. Both of you stay on the line. There you go. A double perfecto. How about it?
Take your bow, Ethan.
There you go.
Or excuse me, Clay. Take your bow, Clay.
Both of you take a bow. Started off with I'm not good at the music, but turns out you're good with the jersey numbers. So again, stay on the line. Graham will grab some info, but congratulations. Gosh, double perfect scores. I wish I could be more excited about it. A 1 perfect score gets me super jazzed up. 2 perfect scores, I get kind of sad because a perfect score is rare, but when we double it up, I should be going nuts, but instead I feel kind of bad for the person that didn't do it fast enough, especially because he said Drake London, and I couldn't tell whether he said pass or 5, so I had to ask him to say it again. He had said 5. Maybe that's the difference. I don't know. All I can do is promise that I do everything I can to go as fast as I can for every participant. Flew through it, though. And I'll make one more. It's not even like a case. But I promise you, the all-hyphen team in the NBA is not that scary. We rotate through these categories. We have people behind the scenes that make these categories for us. Nobody's picked the NBA all-hyphen team, players with hyphens in their name, in weeks. But I promise you, it is not that scary. And maybe that's given an unfair advantage. If you're an NBA fan, I don't think you should have a problem with it. Is what I'm getting at. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, I do want to give a shout-out. NC State Pro Day is going on today. The NC State football team having their Pro Day going on. Anthony Belton's kind of the big draw this year. Tackle likely going on probably day 2 of the draft. There were points in time this year where he was being talked about as a first-round pick, but that buzz has significantly worn down. I'll tell you what I'm excited about, though. Davin Vann, edge rusher, defensive end for State. He was not invited to the combine, and he is a freak athlete. That's not even my opinion, right? The Athletic puts out a freak athletes list in college football every year. Davin Vann's been on it the last couple. He is a shot putter. He can run. He can jump. He can do the front flips, the back flips that you shouldn't be able to do at 270 pounds or whatever he weighs. So I'm excited to see the numbers out of Pro Day for Davin Vann, but they're going on, right, trying to chase dreams. It's a big, your pro day and your interviews in the combine. It's all one big job interview. State trying to have a good job interview today. That's what they have going on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. And stick around because the Canes play tonight versus Nashville. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Adam Gold with Stormwatch leading up to the game. And we're going to give our own little preview coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, I want to let you in on something. You can win and be the only person riding around town on a custom Caniacs motorcycle. The only one. if you go to caniacsbike.com and enter for your chance to win. Because the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they've all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Again, caniacsbike.com. Fourth year in a row, Law Tigers and everyone, they're teaming up again to give a bike away, but this is the first time it is ever a custom-built motorcycle. That's what makes it special. It's one of one. White wall tires, painted in Cane's colors and logos, you name it. Absolutely gorgeous bike. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter for your chance to win. Deadline's April 6th, so enter now, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Move your sports day forward.
I love this time of year. You know, filling out the brackets, it's like going to the weirdest farmer's market ever. Yeah, I'll take some of those 15 seeds, couple of mid-majors, and what do you got on that top seed shelf there? No? Yeah, I'll take that second seed. All right, one bracket down, just 15 more to go.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled D-V-I-D-A. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Hey everybody, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Hey, so your brackets are busted? Well, new customers at FanDuel can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to bet on everything from clutch shots to last-second heartbreaks and even who's cutting down the nets. If you've been waiting to join, there is no better time. There's tournament action almost every day, and FanDuel has amazing bet types like spreads, totals, game props, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Paul. That's Paul with a capital P. And get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Spring has sprung, and so have the deals at Kohl's Spring Savings Event. I just got a comfy tee for just $7.99, a cute swimsuit for $19.99, 40% off patio furniture for my backyard, and so much more. So don't wait. These deals are too good to miss. Hurry over to Kohl's to save big on warm weather essentials during their Spring Savings Event today. Select styles. Offers end March 30th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes, Predators, tonight. Nashville is one of the worst teams in the league. I actually think this is kind of a funny way to think about it. Nashville may be the big winner in the whole Mikko Rantanen journey. Right? Everybody wants to talk about, should Colorado have let Mikko Rantanen leave? Should Carolina have traded for him in the first place? Nature's this, Stankoven that, the draft picks this. Dallas is going to regret it. Dallas is going to love it. This, that, all the... Nashville loves that there's so many jokes being made and questions being asked about Mikko Rantanen and all of the trades that took place, because if that wasn't the case, more people might be going $32 million over 4 years for Steven Stamkos, $27.5 million over 5 years for Jonathan Marchessault, $49 million over 7 years for Brady Shea, all spent this offseason, all to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference? I don't know if those deals sound good. Meanwhile, Nashville's like, yeah, but Carolina traded for Mikko Rantanen and then traded him away 6 weeks later. Look at that. I say all of that just to say this. There obviously is talent. There's obviously experience on Nashville's roster, but they haven't put it together this year. Injuries, yes. Chemistry building, yes. Like there's reasons for everything, but Nashville hasn't put it together. And with that, there comes a little bit of history, right? Not only is Brady Shea on the other side, but Jankowski's on the other side, or they've flipped, right, from where they were a season ago. And Jankowski's on a hot streak right now. He's obviously going to try to keep that going against his former club because you want to win the breakup. Right, you want to be the one that's doing the cooler stuff, that's having the better time after you part ways. So there's that, and then there's this looming question. And by the way, I appreciate everybody, all the listeners that hang out and join our kind of online community. But I put on Twitter on x.com this question. I said, I'm genuinely curious. I'm reading it word for word, so if it sounds like I'm reading a script, it's because I am. I'm genuinely curious what the Canes do if/when Svetch and Carrier are both healthy. If we assume Jost is out of the lineup, what other forward is the healthy scratch most nights? Robinson? ? Jankowski ? Roslovic ? Someone else? ? And then I finished it up with, I don't think there is a right answer. And there's been some really good responses. So that's what I'm saying. I appreciate it. Here's the hard part. There's really good reasons for like 4 or 5 different guys. I've heard really good reasons for Roslovic, right? He doesn't bring a ton to special teams and maybe isn't the defensive player. I've seen some really good reasons for Robinson, meaning he brings a little bit to special teams on the penalty kill and he's a little bit better two-way player. I've seen reasons for Stankoven. Inexperienced, new guy, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I agree with these, but I'm saying like people have measured, logical reasons for a bunch of different players. Some say Carrier because he hasn't played in months. Some, I think they're just being mean and kind of facetious, but some have said Svetch should be the guy that stays out. There's arguments for Jankowski because if you go back, just 7 games ago to when the trade happened, it probably would have been Jankowski. So with that much solid reasoning for each, if I'm a player, okay, and I've spoken with professional athletes about this, I think one of the things professional athletes wish wasn't the case but always is there is a bit more selfishness, right? In college, it really is like play for the name on the front of your jersey more than the back. In the pros, it's like this is also our job. Right? I make more money on my next contract if I have better stats, so I want to be in the lineup. It's less like I'm going to sacrifice myself for the betterment of the team. So until Svetch and Carrier get healthy, all of the players we just mentioned, Jankowski, Roslovic, Robinson, maybe even Stankoven, they're all thinking, I got to make sure I play well, right? They're all thinking, I'm 4 bad nights in a row from being the healthy scratch. And just from a career perspective, that's not your goal, right? You're competitive. You want to be on the ice helping your team. So nights like tonight, can change your future a bit. Now, obviously, and this was pointed out a bunch online as well, and again, thank you for the insight, there's a decent chance this decision will be made for Rod by themselves, right? If we assume Jost is out, just takes one more strained hip flexor to now you don't have a decision to make, right? Because now everyone that you want in the lineup is in the lineup. It just takes one more, tweaked thumb, right? An injury could make the decision for you. But if everybody's healthy, how you play up until if and when both guys are healthy might decide whether you stay in the lineup or not for a postseason run. And a great postseason run can change your career. Actually, Stankoven played really well for Dallas in the postseason last year. It was like 20 postseason games. And I don't even think he was considered a rookie yet. That changes how the league looks at you. So let's look at like somebody like Jankowski, right? Jankowski showed up. He was traded for a conditional 5th-round pick. At the deadline, most of us didn't even notice, right? The trade actually came across our wire, right? Came across the media reports like an hour after the trade deadline passed because it was completed right at the deadline. So he shows up. He's a guy that was traded for a conditional 5th. That tells you what the league thinks of you, right? That tells you what your team thinks of you. 7 games later, he scored 6 goals, and now what was probably an easy decision if he played mediocre, right? All right, Jankowski will go out, and these guys will come in, and Stankoven will be a 4th-line center. What was probably an easy decision now is a difficult decision. So if he plays really well for another 5 games, maybe before Carrier gets back, and I don't know when he's coming back, he's week to week, 7 games. Well, now maybe that keeps him in the lineup, gives him an opportunity to score more goals. Do you realize how different you're looked upon in the league if you have a 15-goal second half of the season? You're looked upon differently. So nights like tonight against teams that aren't great, okay? And I'm not saying Nashville's bottom, but let's be real. They're whatever, second to last in their division, third to last in the Western Conference. When you're up against a team like that, there might be a little bit of devil and angel on your shoulder, right? There might be a little, make sure you get yours, right? And then the other side saying, well, play the right way. Don't worry about it. Let the puck come to you. So I'm watching tonight for who lets the little, and I'm not saying like Jersey Devil. I'm saying like, the plot device on television and movies, right? The two little, like who listens to the devil and who listens to the angel. And by the way, if you go out there pressing for goals or pressing for production, that's usually when they're the hardest to find. You just take a whole bunch of bad shots. So that's one thing to watch for tonight. In addition to, as we said earlier, big night for Pyotr Kochetkov, right? Wipe your slate clean from whatever that was against the Kings on Saturday. And then obviously Freddie had a better day. Maybe not the best day, but a better day on Sunday. And the Canes have won 9 of 10. I also, this will be my final point on the subject before we turn things over to Overdrive, and obviously the game will be here on 99.9 The Fan later today. My final point on the subject will be this. They've won 9 of their last 10. Things are going well, which allows us to dive further into the nitpicky things and look more into the psyche of the players. There were points in time this year where things were not going as well, and we had to talk blocking and tackling, right? If you were talking about the Canes, you had to talk power play efficiency. If you're talking about the Canes, you had to talk getting more shots on goal. You had to talk about the building blocks. Now that you're playing better, we can start looking into the things that could decide whether your team, thrives in the postseason or not, which is really how this Canes core is going to be judged forever and ever. Do you make it farther in the postseason than you did in the last 5 years, which is Eastern Conference Finals, which is Stanley Cup Finals? And yeah, Brady Shea will be back in town. Hopefully you send him home with a loss. I'm not here for the tribute videos. I said it earlier. Thanks to Graham for sitting in for Dennis today, which is always a treat. We get a little old soul from Graham. And follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. 99.9 The Fan. Got to remember to remind you guys more about that more often. Like videos, share videos, subscribe while you're there. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We're starting with a reaction to Will Wade's intro presser as the head coach of NC State on Overdrive. Enjoy that. Enjoy the game. Hockey night in Carolina. And we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
You know what's fun about Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington? You, behind the wheel of a brand new 2025 Ram 1500. With savings as much as $15,000 off a new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie, you can have all the fun driving this powerful, rugged truck built for work, play, and everything in between. So get off your keister and get to Heister today. See dealer for details. Hurry to Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
Indication that there is a tornado.